At the New Jersey Meadowlands for the New York Jets home opener as the Jets host the Indianapolis Colts. Hello everyone and welcome to the Meadowlands. Tom Hammond and Bob Trumpy. The Jets last year won only 3 games, and then Bob spent a ton of money in the offseason to upgrade their team, but what they got, at least in the opener last week at Denver, was the same old Jets.
Yeah, Tom, it was a comedy of errors. 9 sacks on their quarterbacks. They had 4 fumbles, lost 3, an interception, and they allowed 31 points in the first half. The game was over. Even with the injuries, that's not the way Rich Kotite wanted his football team to start the season.
The chief off-season acquisition for the Jets, quarterback Neil O'Donnell, who came over from the Steelers, played in the Super Bowl, of course. The last time O'Donnell faced the Colts was in the AFC Championship game. That's the game in which Indianapolis came within 1 play of reaching the Super Bowl. And you can trace the turnaround of the Colts and their quarterback, Jim Harbaugh, captain comeback, to the game here against the Jets last season.
You're absolutely right. Game 2, second half, it was the genesis of Jim Harbaugh taking over the football team. The 2 touchdowns he threw in the second half to tie the score, they win it in overtime. He said to us yesterday, you know, flying back to Indianapolis, the feeling was so great. I knew that team was mine. Next week he starts, goes on to have a fabulous season.
Harbaugh, in fact, would end up leading the league in quarterback efficiency rating, and after 1 week of the '96 season, he's in that spot again. Colts and the Jets coming up. Welcome back to the NFL on NBC from the New Jersey Meadowlands. The Colts and the Jets, a warm afternoon, very high humidity, and 10 to 12 mile-an-hour winds. Lindy Infante, the new coach of the Colts, hoping to take his team to their first 2-0 start since 1977. And a familiar spot for his opposite number across the field, Rich Kotite, once again in the hot seat. Second season as the Jets head coach and a disastrous 31-6 defeat in Game 1. Gardocki is set to kick it off for the Indianapolis Colts with Van Dyke and Moore, the deep men for the Jets. And this will be a Ronald Moore a yard deep. And a seam up the middle, cuts to the outside. Moore with a flag down is tackled at the 30-yard line. Mark Stock after a 31-yard return. There are penalty markers. Bob McElwee, the referee for today's game. And it will be against the Jets, nullifying a good return by Moore.
Illegal block above the waist, number 25, during the return. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Gary Jones called for the illegal block as we take a look at the Jets starting lineup. In the offensive line, Boatswain, a free agent acquisition, replacing Jumbo Elliott, who was one of the free agents also, but Williams is back. David Williams at right tackle. Morrell is the man to watch, top rusher and top receiver for the Jets last season. Corbett still starts, but Keyshawn Johnson, the Jets' top draft choice, has been very vocal about a lack of quality playing time, will be the third receiver and will get as much time as the starters. Here is Morrell, first down carry. Adrian had 94 yards rushing, one of the few bright spots against the Broncos last week. Colts defense lines up this way. Up front, Whittington replacing the injured Ellis Johnson at the left end spot. Among the linebackers, Jeff Herod's been the leading tackler 6 of the last 7 years for the Colts. Buchanan may be matched up 1-for-1 on Johnson sometimes today. Rookie Mathis will be the nickelback. Neil O'Donnell with a 2 tight end formation. Brady and Baxter, 2 tight ends in on second down. Morrell looking for a block. A would-be blocker, Matt O'Dwyer, the right guard. Bob ran right by somebody. And Bernard Whittington and Stephen Grant make the tackle on Morrell, short of the first down.
Well, Tom, they'll start by the Jets after all the mistakes last week, and no protection really to speak of for Neil O'Donnell. I don't think it's surprising at all the Jets come out here and try to establish control of the line of scrimmage, run the ball a lot. Morrell, as you said, with his 94 yards last week, over 5 yards a carry. Yeah, try to soften the Colts defense up.
3rd and 1. Jeff Graham wide the bottom of the screen with Corbett in the slot and now in motion. And the handoff to Morrell, who has the first down across the 30 to the 31-yard line. Tripped up by Sammy Burroughs, who will be replacing Quentin Coriat today. Coriat started the game, but he has been shaken up, and Burroughs quickly into the contest.
Morrell was told in March that he was going to be the running back. The guy who returned the kickoff Rob Moore was the starter last year for the Jets. Tremendous turnover on this football team.
First down, New York. O'Donnell has yet to put it up. Now he will. And incomplete, juggled by Morrell and then dropped as O'Donnell looked one way to the right, looked back to the left, and then across the middle to Morrell, who couldn't hold on.
One thing about this offense, O'Donnell knows it well. It's the same offense he had last year with Ron Earhart. Earhart's released by Pittsburgh, and Rich Kotite jumps at the chance to hire him.
Hours later.
Please, Fargo, get in here.
2nd and 10. Anderson in motion. Delayed handoff to Morrell, picking his way forward and doing a pretty good job of it to the 36-yard line. Didn't look like much there. He got about 5 yards before he's stopped by Stephen Grant.
Tom, Jets offensive line, an excellent job, because you're going to see a game run by the Indianapolis Colts front four, and they're still able to pick up everybody, and Morrell makes it a positive play. Get this offensive line's feet on the ground after last week. Give him some confidence.
Cheer from the crowd as Keyshawn Johnson comes into the game. 4 wide receivers, Graham, Slaughter, Crevette, and Johnson, facing a dime defense, 6 DBs for the Colts. O'Donnell from the gun. And it's complete to Graham, who stopped short of the first down, hit hard by Buchanan and Frazier, who had it covered all the way. Good defense by the Indianapolis Colts. It'll be 4th down.
Yeah, something wrong there. Keyshawn Johnson was in the same spot that Jeff Graham was. I mean, they were within arm's length of each other. Just a little hitch pattern run, but watch, one of them's not supposed to do what happens here. You don't run 2 hitches side by side.
And again, maybe one of the reasons that Keyshawn Johnson has not been getting more playing time and getting talked to on the sideline, still not that familiar with the offense. Hanson's punt toward the rookie Harrison. Fielding it at the 8. That's a Cardinal sin. Let's see if he can get out of there. Dancing to the outside. Good choice. Harrison turns the corner and out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Knocked out by May, but a good return of 30 yards by Harrison after a 52-yard punt. Colts ball when we come back.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by the reliable all-new Mirage sedan from Mitsubishi, built for living. By Wrangler, real, comfortable jeans. By Zantac 75, the final word in acid relief. And by Brewery Fresh Budweiser. Get fresh, get Bud.
Scoreless first quarter. Keyshawn Johnson a misread on his first pass route for the New York Jets. And contrast that rookie with the Colts rookie Marvin Harrison. Harrison with 6 catches a week ago against Arizona. Handoff to Marshall Faulk. Back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard. Mo Lewis wrapped him up at that point.
Tom, you mentioned the difference between Keyshawn Johnson 16 days late into camp. Marvin Harrison, he was the 19th player picked, showed up early, signed an injury waiver, went through all of minicamp, has been there from day 1, and he knows the offense. He knows the adjustments to the offense, and he's an excellent kick returner. So immediately you see, you get there early, you get to play early.
Meanwhile, Keyshawn Johnson just playing his way into the offense, but scheduled to get a lot more playing time today. Faulk ran into his blocker Crockett, and again will get only a yard. Hugh Douglas at the bottom of the stack for the New York Jets. Here the way the Colts line up offensively with Harbaugh, 2 touchdowns and interception last week. That offensive line completely revamped in the offseason for the Colts. Marshall Faulk over 100 yards rushing and receiving. Aaron Bailey starting for the injured Sean Dawkins today. Brian Stabline will be the 3rd receiver on passing downs. And Dawkins, despite a gimpy ankle, on the field now with Harrison and Bailey. 3 wides. Harbaugh from the gun on 3rd and long. Harbaugh, this is what he does so well. Scrambling and throwing complete for the first down. All the way to the Jets' 44-yard line to Marvin Harrison, the rookie, for 14 yards. Aaron Glenn makes the tackle.
Excellent pass protection. I noticed a change here by the Jets. This is Bobby Hamilton. This is Mo Lewis. They put these guys down for pass rush, but watch the good blocking and then just the slight adjustment by Harbaugh. He told us last night, he's always played quarterback by the seat of his pants. Buys himself a little time. Excellent pattern run by Harrison against a very good coverage corner in Aaron Glenn. Nice completion. This kid's going to contribute a lot early.
Already a catch today after 6 in his initial game. First down, Indianapolis. Play action fake. Harbaugh rifles it complete. Marshall Faulk fumbles the ball, and the Jets recover the fumble. Victor Glenn, the safety, knocked it free, and Gary Jones recovered for New York.
Jim Piccarelli, the defensive coordinator, that didn't appear to be a very hard hit.
No.
But you can see the respect that the Jets have for Marshall Faulk. That's their corner out there on him. What happens? Helmet right on the football. Ball loose, recovered by Jones. Jets ball. Marshall Faulk led the Colts in receiving last year with 56 catches. Catches it nicely. Aaron Glenn, the cornerback, helmet right on the football, jars it loose. And the first turnover of the day in favor of the Jets.
And Adrian Morrell trying to take advantage of it. Stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Good penetration by Stephen Grant. And then Bernard Whittington arrived on the scene as well, as Morrell unable to turn the corner on that first down run.
I don't think they should give up on it, though. To protect Neil O'Donnell, run as much as they can, and Fargo knows that. Fargo being Ron Earhart. Keep firing it at the defensive line of scrimmage here.
Got 2 tight ends here, Brady and Baxter. Morrell the lone setback. O'Donnell taken down by Saragusa. Saragusa is his old nemesis, too.
That's embarrassing. Tony does a lot of things. Getting to the quarterback is not one of them. Here is Saragusa. They do run a game. He gets around the center. The Jets offensive line has only had 5 practices together. You see 2 guys missing. Morrell, 29, kind of ducked his head. Saragusa comes up with the sack.
First sack this season for Tony, who batted down a couple of O'Donnell passes in the AFC Championship game against Pittsburgh last season. 3rd and long from the gun. O'Donnell's got 4 wide receivers on the field.
Blitz.
And the blitz from Buchanan. O'Donnell to the outside and throws it away. Jeff Graham was closest to it, and they can't take advantage of the turnover. The Jets will punt.
Here is the new rage in the NFL, called a zone blitz. You're going to see Richard Dent drop out and the corner blitz. The corner is untouched, but an awful lot of teams are now doing this just to try to confuse pass protection and put a defensive helmet out there in front. O'Donnell again had no time to set up and throw.
Hanson's punt toward Harrison. Fielded at the 16. Harrison. Another good return. Marvin Harrison. Across the 45 to the 47-yard line. Moore made a saving tackle after a 22-yard return. And the Colts back in business in a scoreless first quarter. Jets special teams coach Ken Rose not happy. His punt coverage team has been burned twice by the rookie Marvin Harrison for returns of 31 and now 22 yards.
I think in part that's due to a lot of free agency. You know, they go after quarterbacks and pass rushers. They don't go after special teams players.
Right. So good field position for the Colts, their own 46. Marshall Faulk hit hard at the 50-yard line, falls across the midfield stripe, tackled there by Gary Jones. Let's take a look at the Jets defense, the way they started the game up front with Washington, Spindler getting the start, Brock and Douglas, the rookie sensation of a season ago. Houston, Jones, and Lewis. We've already seen Houston and Lewis as down rushers in passing situations, and that's 3 of the 4 in that backfield starting are from Texas A&M. Otis Smith is the nickelback in passing down.
Yeah, they don't mind starting rookies either. They got Mickens in there as a defensive corner. They started Aaron Glenn right after they drafted him as a rookie.
Aaron Glenn, Gary Jones, and Ray Mickens, all from Texas A&M. Jets appear to be offside. Harbaugh with a free play. Wings it down the sideline and incomplete. Mark Spindler apparently was offside. Let's see if they mark it off against the Jets.
Mad at himself. Dilger, the tight end, was open.
Offside. Number 93. Defense. 5 yards. Still second down.
Spindler was the guilty party. 5-yard walk-off against New York.
Rich Kotite, head coach, 3-21 in his last 24 games as a head coach. Had the good sense to say, if Earhart comes in here, I want him to run the offense. Turned it completely over to him so he can oversee both offense and defense.
Ahmad Warren in the game and gets the call on second down and less than a yard. Didn't need much, didn't get much as Marvin Jones led the charge, but it will be a first down. Let's go to New York now. Update on Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Greg?
All right, Tom, in Pittsburgh, Vinny Testaverde on the second play from scrimmage is picked off by Rod Woodson. Woodson returns 43 yards for a Steeler touchdown and a 7-0 lead, but Testaverde has come back to run 6 yards for a touchdown, and now in the first quarter, it's a 7-7 tie, Ravens and the Steelers. Tom?
All right, thank you, Greg. And Testaverde ran for a touchdown against the Raiders last week. He's got his...
Who is this guy?
Yeah, what's happened here? Scoreless here at the Meadowlands. The Colts and the Jets with 6.5 to play in the opening quarter. Harbaugh with plenty of time and a wide open receiver. Caught by Bailey, and Aaron Bailey is to the 27. Chased down by Mo Lewis. It's a gain of 15 yards, another Colt first down.
Did you see Marshall Faulk? He goes in motion. Greatest decoy in the league. Runs a little inside pattern, does, but there's Faulk going by underneath. I mean, it's a zone. They just leave him alone. Harbaugh makes the completion. Nice, easy pickup.
And there is Marshall Faulk. Lindy Infante called him the greatest decoy in the NFL. That's not taking away from his talents. That's what makes him so great. As Dilger goes in motion on first down, pitch it to Faulk. Crockett with a block, not good enough. Hugh Douglas got in the middle of things and took him down.
Amazing thing I think about Marshall Faulk, with all the running yardage he gained at San Diego State, that was his reputation. He's only had 5 100-yard rushing games in 2 years for the Colts, but he is such a valuable player. I mean, he's decoy. He can play wide receiver. He'll block, not a lot, but he'll block. And he's never complained to Lindy Infante about his lack of running the ball, even though he's coming off 2 straight 1,000-yard rushing seasons.
He's at the tailback in the eye with Crockett, the fullback. Jim Harbaugh's hit all 3 of his passes so far. Harbaugh, that one's incomplete. And a penalty marker down as Marvin Jones just pushed Zach Crockett to the turf.
Boy, there was a crowd there. There's a whole bunch of people right in that area.
As the officials discuss
Pass interference, number 54 defense. Automatic first down.
Appeared to be an easy call. First down as Marvin Jones just shoved Crockett to the turf. Meanwhile, Kip Vickers shaken up on the play for the Colts. And Troy Auzenne replacing him. There's Vickers. Vickers getting the start at left tackle, that all-important offensive line spot. And while they tend to Kip, we'll take a break. We're scoreless in the first quarter, the Jets and the Colts.
This is the NFL on NBC.
Here's the injury to Vickers. Watch his right leg as Hugh Douglas comes around. This is not an AstroTurf injury. This is just big bodies flying around. You see Hugh Douglas kind of catches his foot, can't keep his weight on top of it, and you don't know what the injury is, but it's 6'2", 297. You need all the footing you can, sure footing you can get underneath you.
And Troy Auzenne replacing him, and the Colts are thin on the offensive line, so it could be a key injury at that all-important left tackle spot. Zach Crockett spinning his way inside the 20-yard line. Crockett, the hero of the playoffs for the Colts last year after Marshall Faulk was injured.
Was he a hero? Man, entered the season with no carry, a 1 carry for no yards. That's what he did, rushing the ball. He also had 6 catches for 37 yards, is willing to be the blocking back now with Roosevelt Potts suspended for the season. He'll do anything to help the team.
3 carries, 19 yards in the opening game, and a reception for Crockett. Harbaugh on second down. Dilger, the tight end, Inside the 5, down to the 2, wrestled to the turf by Gary Jones. 17-yard gain as tight end Ken Dilger came free for his 4th reception of the season.
Tom, one of the real characteristics of a Lindy and Pawnee offense is they spread the ball around. Last week, 8 different receivers caught the ball. And you saw Dilger just delay at the line of scrimmage like he was making a block, and then releases and comes up with a big catch.
Meanwhile, Jay Leuenberg, the starting right guard of the Colts, is shaken up, leaving the field under his own power. There he is with the second offensive line injury on this series for the Colts.
And remember, the Colts had the misfortune of 4 offensive linemen at the end of last season become free agents. The only one they were able to keep was Kirk Loudermilk, lost the other 3. So they had to bring in Auzine, Vickers, Wydell, Leuenberg. Tony Mandarich is also on the roster.
There's Vickers being tended to, and then just a moment ago, Jay Leuenberg going out of the game. Steve Harden replacing him at right guard. Harbaugh perfect so far. It's 1st and goal for the Colts. Ball spotted just about between the 2 and 3. Crockett stopped short. Mo Lewis kept him from getting into the end zone.
Tight end wham. I declined to do this. This is Banta. He's going to try to block on the nose tackle. Actually, it's an excellent job done by the Jets filling the hole. Mo Lewis makes the tackle. I'm glad I retired before that series of plays came in. The tight end wham.
8th play of the drive coming up, and the Colts have 3 tight ends this time. Dilger, Banta, and Pollard in the game. Crockett and Falk in the backfield. Marshall Falk wrestled down. No, he got in at the last effort. An argument from the Jets, but Falk somehow carried his way into the end zone. Victor Green had him wrapped up, was trying to hold him out. Help arrived, didn't matter. Falk got it in, and as always, he'll send that football home to his mom in New Orleans.
Yeah, I don't think he gets credit for the toughness this kid has. I mean, he's taken some big hits. He is willing to go in there and take the hits. Yeah, I thought he showed great strength, stayed with it. A lot of running backs. Some of them are prima donnas. You know, they get hit once. Okay, that's enough. I'll go down. He's more in the keeping of Emmitt Smith.
Gary Blanchard, who just received a new contract from the Colts, will attempt the extra point. 2 for 2 this season, and now perfect in 3 attempts. As Blanchard tacks on the extra point, and the Colts go on top thanks to Falk's touchdown. 7-0.
Actually, with the replacements on the offensive line, this is great blocking. Banta, 83 in motion. We also have Zach Crockett. The hit was originally made by Victor Green, who is a good tackler, but Marshall Falk kept fighting.
I think it's Eric Malum that finally supplies the momentum to get him in. Watch Malum of the Colts in the white come here and provide a little push.
Ball breaks the plane of the goal line, and you're right. His mom in New Orleans has got to build a building to hold all the footballs this kid's going to collect.
You know, thanks to a little momentum builder from Eric Malum, Falk gets it into the end zone. His 23rd rushing touchdown over the last 2 seasons, 22, trailing only Emmitt Smith and Chris Warren of the Seahawks.
That's a pretty nice list of running backs, isn't it? Smith you take. Warren's the best guy that nobody knows.
And of course, look at the bottom of the list there.
Yeah, what, they have 2 last season?
Correct. Only 2 last season. It's been, you got to go all the way back to the Brooklyn Dodgers, I think.
I knew you'd get that in. That is the football Brooklyn Dodgers. What year was that? In
well,
the 20s?
19 or 30s, I don't know. 8-play drive for the Colts to go on top. And Gardocki is set to kick off. Van Dyke and Moore. This is Moore. He's about 4 or 5 yards deep, and he'll down it. Touchback. Jets take over on their 20. Well, the tradition of Notre Dame football returns to NBC next Saturday, 2:30 Eastern Time. Ron Paulus and the Fighting Irish hosting the Purdue Boilermakers next Saturday, 2:30 Eastern. The Fighting Irish and Purdue, presented by Chevy Trucks. Of course, the Irish lucky to beat Vanderbilt in Nashville last Thursday night. Sputtering, turning the football over. Everything went wrong. My bet is that Lou Holtz will have them ready to play on Saturday. What did he say? Those fumbles will not be tolerated. Protect that football as if it were your scholarship.
I imagine that got the point across to the fellas.
7-0 Indianapolis. 2:54 left. First quarter from the Meadowlands. First down pass. O'Donnell. Wide open. Catch made by Webster Slaughter. And Slaughter has the first down to the 37-yard line, wrapped up by David Tate. It covered 17 yards.
That was nicely done by O'Donnell because the cornerback rolled up. Slaughter adjusts and goes to the outside, and Neil O'Donnell throws it over the head of the defensive back and makes the completion. It was Derek Frazier who was underneath him. That's a nice throw by Neil O'Donnell. Given time, O'Donnell a very accurate thrower. The Super Bowl notwithstanding.
The very accomplished veteran Webster Slaughter as Morrell ducks to the outside, and he has a good gainer. Run out of bounds by David Tate. Morrell had a nice run. And talking about Webster Slaughter, that catch, Bob, was the 524th of his career.
Yeah, most with Cleveland. Then he goes to Houston, then Kansas City, and then shows up here. Is a real cheerleader for a lot of the young receivers here, which has not been, I think, the description that many people would apply to Webster Slaughter. He was more interested in himself. But into the career, whatever I can do.
Top of the screen is Slaughter. Keyshawn Johnson in the slot to the bottom behind next to Graham as Morrell bangs ahead to the midfield stripe. Final 2 minutes of the quarter. Tony Siragusa, Jeff Harrod stopping Adrian Morrell, the transplanted Hawaiian who made his way to West Virginia. Talk about culture shock going from Hawaii. He said his first year in Morgantown, he stayed mostly in his room. Weather and culture shock. Morrell, the son of an Army drill sergeant who retired as a sergeant major.
He wasn't sure how he got from Hawaii to West Virginia. He said, I said, what about the Rainbows? University of Hawaii. He said, I wouldn't have fit into their offense.
7 carries, 30 yards for Adrian Morrell. O'Donnell in trouble and sacked. Ball's loose, and the Colts have it. Nope, they're going to say he was down. No fumble. Sorry, Tony. Tony was off to the end zone.
I couldn't tell who made the original sack, but he did it from the ground. It was either Tony Bennett or Whittington. I couldn't tell, but I think it's Tony Bennett right here who is going to get the pressure. He's on Boatswain. Does he collapse the pocket, falls down to the ground? Yeah, It is Bennett.
You're right. And then putting the finishing touches on it was Tony McCoy.
Yeah, he gets around Boatswain, who really is a guard, number 69.
I don't know that O'Donnell was down either.
I don't either. But in the grasp, they protect the quarterbacks as best they can.
And nothing for Morrell. Perhaps a yard. Tackled by Bernard Whittington.
Well, the Jets fans aren't happy here in the Meadowlands, but look, this offense is not healthy, and it's still learning a new system. I mean, they had Bruce Coslett here 4 years ago. They had Pete Carroll here 3 years ago. Last year, Kotite comes in. This year, it's Earhart. That's 4 offenses, different offenses in 4 years. There's got to be some protecting going on for this offense. You just can't turn it loose.
Allowing 9 sacks against Denver in the first week. 3rd and long, under 10 seconds left in the quarter. O'Donnell steps up. He's in trouble again. Flips it, and luckily incomplete for the Jets because Richie Anderson was life and death to hold on, and luckily the pass falls incomplete as O'Donnell again scrambling for his life. That's Stephen Grant who's shaken up for the Colts.
Tom, it looks to me like there is plenty of time. Good protection for Neil O'Donnell. It's just a 4-man rush. Lots of games run by the Colts up front. But when O'Donnell is ready to throw, no receivers looking. Coverage sack. In desperation, he tries to get it out there to avoid another one.
One thing that Rich Kotite and, in fact, the Colts defensive coaches said about last week, O'Donnell probably held on to the ball too long.
Well, but, he gets the big money.
Right.
He comes to New York. This is where he's from. Grew up in Jersey. He wants to, as best he can, do all he can, so he's probably trying to do too much.
Stephen Grant injured. 2 seconds in the quarter. We'll be back in a moment. Back at the Meadowlands with Brian Hansen in punt formation for the Jets. Last play of the quarter, barring penalty. Harrison's going to let this one sail. And it does. Nice punt by Hampson. It'll be out of bounds right around the 10-yard line. That's the end of the first quarter with the Indianapolis Colts leading the New York Jets 7-0. You're watching the NFL on NBC.
Now, watch the right leg of Neil O'Donnell as Tony Bennett comes up with the sack. We couldn't tell if Neil O'Donnell was limping as he went to the sideline, but when he got to the sideline, we'll show you in a minute what the trainers did for Neil O'Donnell.
Meanwhile, Colts take over deep in their own territory. Harbaugh scrambles away from trouble. He's going to keep it and dives across the 15 to the 16-yard line, covered by Marvin Jones. Neil O'Donnell over on the sideline. They're working on his right leg, his ankle, his knee, as he was sacked and shaken up.
Yeah, that sleeve is it's going to eventually get to his knee for some support. And Frank Reich, the backup, was warming up a little bit. Don't know how serious the injury might be. And Frank with his hat back on, football in hand.
Meanwhile, the Colts have their own injuries to worry about on the offensive line. Kip Vickers, right knee sprain, is out of the game. Leuenberg shaken up, left ankle sprain, but likely to return later. Harbaugh. Dilger. And Dilger rambling across the 45 to the 47-yard line. Caught by Mo Lewis. A gain of 30 yards thanks to Jim Harbaugh and his scrambling free. That's what he does so well, that quarterbacking by the seat of his pants.
You're going to see Victor Green, 21, come in on the blitz. Falk just gets a hand on him. And watch Harbaugh try to keep this play alive. The one thing that Jim Harbaugh told us last year when we did this game is that Lindy Infante has taught him when he runs with the football, you run to find a receiver. Keep your head up. Look for that guy downfield. He's done it time after time, and he's killed the Jets with it over the last 2 years.
5 for 5, Harbaugh. First down at the 46-yard line. Pitch it to Lamont Warren. He has only a yard. Warren, who went to college at Colorado but was a high school teammate of Keyshawn Johnson at Dorsey High School in Los Angeles.
Yeah, along with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the kid who went to UCLA, who had 100 yards rushing last week for the Miami Dolphins. And that's a good bunch to hang around. Warren came out early, and they're all good friends. I mean, Jabbar of Miami and Keyshawn Johnson, they're like brothers.
Yeah, they were roommates, even though they went to different colleges. SC for Johnson, UCLA for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
And Lamont Warren was the running back before Rashaan Salam won the Heisman Trophy at Colorado.
Colts have to take a timeout here, some mix-up. So they will call time with 12:42 left in the second quarter, up 7-0.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by the all-new Ford F-150. Strength after strength after strength. By Priority Mail from the U.S. Postal Service. By First Brands Corporation, makers of STP Complete Fuel System Cleaner. And by Maximum Risk, a new film from Columbia Pictures at theaters September 13th.
Tom Hammond and Bob Trumpy from the Meadowlands, where the New York Jets are doing their best impersonation of the Democratic National Convention, the Republican National Convention. Not much going on. They trail 7-0, and the Colts have outgained them 105 yards to 35 yards. Harbaugh from the blind side. The pressure was coming, and he got away to Dilger. I don't know. He must have just sensed the pressure coming from Mo Lewis, who was bearing down on him, and got it away to his tight end.
They emptied the backfield. Here's Mo Lewis. They got two tight ends. Dilger ends up being the intended receiver and does make the catch.
Can you get that thing working?
No, it's I don't know what happened to it, but it wants to stay on the air.
Well, kind of like a lot of announcers I know would like to stay on the air.
I'll wait a minute.
Third down, and a 4-wide receiver set for the Colts. Harbaugh from the gun, feels the pressure and wings it incomplete. Harrison, the rookie, didn't read the pressure coming on Harbaugh and didn't look for the football. He might have had the reception, had a step on his defender.
May have been the first mistake he's made since he showed up, and Harrison's going right to Harbaugh. Harrison says, my bad. I did not read the blitz.
That's the first miss of the day for Harbaugh. And it was the rookie receiver's fault, at least in part. Gardocki is on to punt. 3 last week, averaged 38.7. And Wayne Corbett is the deep man for the Jets. Corbett from Hofstra, who was the rookie sensation, free agent from a year ago. He's going to let it bounce. And it will bounce short of the end zone, down inside the 5. It was Derwin Gray that downed it after 47 yards, and Gardocki put it right where it belonged. There is a penalty marker.
That's against the Jets. The Colts will let the play stand.
Yep.
Face mask foul, number 89 on the receiving team after the ball is kicked. The receivers will keep the ball after a penalty half the distance from the goal line. First down.
Well, there is no 89 on the Jets. That's kind of the way it's gone for them the first half. 7-0 Indy. Jets penalized half the distance to the goal, which means the ball just beyond the New York 1-yard line.
Actually, this may help them. All they can do is run. And in the first series, they ran the ball reasonably. Again, get some positive vibes on this Jet offense.
Colt linebacker Stephen Grant has a pulled groin and his return questionable. Sammy Burrows on the field to take his place as Quentin Coriat flops sides. From the end zone, there is a pass, and it's complete to Fred Baxter, the tight end, as O'Donnell, with a twisted right knee and all, rifles it to the 25 and a first down. A 23-yard gain. Jason Belser, the tackle.
So much for my theory of offense. Fargo knows what he's doing. You see the tight end just release away from Sammy Burrows, 53, who just came in for Grant. Well thrown by O'Donnell, but at the end of the play, did you see O'Donnell limping?
Right. Well, O'Donnell is a tough guy, and Ron Earhart, of course, who was with him in Pittsburgh, knows that. O'Donnell stays in the game, and a big completion. Blitz coming, picked up, but nothing there on the run. Jeff Parad makes the tackle after Coriat was coming on the blitz, picked up nicely by the Jets, but they got nothing out of it.
Yeah, watch the way O'Donnell is walking around there very gingerly on that right leg.
And, of course, he has been battered this year already. 10 sacks in the first 1.5 games, really. And the Steelers only allowed him to be sacked 15 times in the regular season last year. Blitz again. Again, the Jets pick it up, and Keyshawn Johnson with a reception, but a short one only to the 30-yard line. Second catch for the first player taken in the draft. Ray Buchanan. Jim Johnson, the defensive coordinator of the Colts, saying when Keyshawn Johnson was on the field, that man, Ray Buchanan, would be matched up with him man for man. He thought Buchanan could handle Keyshawn Johnson.
Even though he's given away almost 5-6 inches. Johnson very tall, but Buchanan an excellent man-on-man coverage corner.
Johnson top of the screen here, 4 wide receiver set. O'Donnell tipped at the line of scrimmage and incomplete. Intended for Webster Slaughter. That ball was deflected at the line of scrimmage.
But
it was Richard Dent, I believe, that got a hand on it.
Got his hand up, yeah. And O'Donnell had to go from the left side of the field all the way over to the right side of the field to try to come up with a completion.
Question I have, Trump, is Jumbo Elliott still out, but does one tackle make that much of a difference? Is the absence of Elliott that big a factor?
I don't think so, no. 2 tackles, yes. Last week, I think it's explainable.
Hanson punting to Harrison. From the 18, Marvin Harrison didn't get much of a return that time. Better coverage by the New York Jets as Cascadden makes the tackle after a 7-yard return. .946 till halftime. Colts leading the Jets 7-0. Indianapolis with the football. Marvin Harrison a bit shaken up on that last punt return. Not on the field at the moment. It's Sean Dawkins and Aaron Bailey at the wide receiver spots. Harbaugh. Here's Crockett in the flat to the 37-yard line, close to a first down. Let's go to Greg Gumbel now across the Hudson in New York for an update on Houston-Jacksonville. Greg?
All right, Tom. The Houston Oilers got Eddie George's first career touchdown to tie the game, and then Chris Chandler rolls left and finds Malcolm Floyd wide open. This is good for 63 yards and a touchdown. The Oilers have grabbed a 17-10 lead in the second quarter. Tom and Bob, back to you.
All right, Greg, 17 points put up for the Houston Oilers already, and here's 7-0. Only one touchdown. Marshall Faulk scored it from a yard out. Here is Faulk on the sweep. Block at the point of attack. Didn't matter. Good penetration by the Jets defense, and Brent Williams appeared to be there first, and then Gary Jones comes up from the free safety spot to stop Faulk in his tracks.
It does appear the Jets are, with the heat and humidity, going with some backups here early. They've got Brent Williams in there, 91. Also Bobby Hamilton, 92, playing defensive end. And keep those defensive linemen fresh.
Humidity 95% as we started the day. Just moisture hanging in the air. Meanwhile, the Colts have suffered a rash of injuries on both sides of the football here in the first half. They lead 7-0. Blitz comes. Harbaugh got it away and found his man. Short game. Marshall Faulk trying to scramble for some additional yardage. Will be ruled down. He got about 5 yards on the play.
I see, this is another aspect of Marshall Faulk that I love. Marvin Harrison, the wide receiver, gets hurt. So we've seen Marshall Faulk line up as wide receiver. He goes in motion. He's in the slot. You don't know whether he's a decoy or the primary receiver, but you have to pay him great respect on every snap.
Jim Harbaugh's hit 8 of 9 passes for 101 yards here in the first half. That quarterback rating continues to zoom. He leads the league after the first week of the season. Third down from the gun. Harbaugh in trouble and sacked. Victor Green from the strong safety spot got him back at the 35-yard line.
Jets came with the safety blitz, but they also had Mo Lewis, the outside linebacker, down as a pass rusher. Here's Green, who's going to eventually make the sack. It looks like Lamont Warren, 21, tries to block him, but Green gets by the blocker. He's there with Mo Lewis for the sack. Big play, Jets.
Mo Lewis telling us it's the first time since high school when he's been a down pass rusher, and he relished the chance to show that side of his game. Gardaki's punt sailing toward Corbett. Fields it at the 9-yard line. Corbett trying to wend his way out of trouble, makes it down to the 19-yard line. Penalty marker back upfield. 54-yard punt, 9-yard return. There is a penalty. Flag down.
Holding number 44 on the receiving team after the ball is kicked. The receivers will keep the ball after the penalty for their foul. First down.
Lonnie Young, as the Jets continue to be their own worst enemy. They trail the Colts 7-0. The Colts and the Jets have one touchdown between them with 7:14 left till halftime. 7-0 Indianapolis. Jets scored 6 points against the Broncos last week and are right on target for the same sort of performance from their offense this week.
And boy, with this field position, again, half the distance to the goal penalty. Not good.
They start from the 6. O'Donnell has hit 4 of 8 for 51 yards. Adrian Morrell can't turn the corner. Taken down for a loss of 2 on the play by Tony Bennett.
At this point, Ron Earhart, who has a very big offense. I mean, a lot of formations, a lot of motion, a lot of choices. He's running out of things here. You can blame some of this on the offensive line only having 5 practices together. And that's going to create an awful lot of problems for him. But with bad field position, you can only use about 10% of your offense.
Draw play. Morrell somehow fought his way to the 9-yard line. Again, Tony Bennett with the tackle. That Colts rushing defense. And 93 ranked 28th. 94 12th. And last year even better, 6th in the league, allowing 91.1 a game.
Yeah, and when Vince Tobin went to Arizona, Jim Johnson, who was the linebacker coach, took over as the defensive coordinator. Kept the same base defense. Jets 33 yards rushing. Colts have the same base defense. There are a few changes, but this is a stout defense to run against.
Third down play for O'Donnell. Nice pass. O'Donnell completes it to Crabett. Wayne Crabett with a block at midfield, cuts back and just tripped up at the last minute by Derek Frazier. Frazier got a hand on an ankle, and Wayne Crabett, the forgotten man in all the Keyshawn Johnson controversy, has the biggest play of the day, 44 yards. And Frazier, who got that forearm to trip up Crabett, might have injured his arm in the play, his wrist.
Man in coverage was Diedrich Mathis. Crabett is over on the left. You're going to see a good throw again by Neil O'Donnell. Then surprising speed by Crabett.
Right.
Excellent block out front by Jeff Graham, number 81. Biggest play of the day for the Jets.
44 yards, New York first down. O'Donnell, Slaughter's wide open. No catch, out of bounds.
I bobbled it. If he catches it cleanly, he's got it.
He was absolutely by himself, juggled the ball as he went out of bounds.
He catches it twice. There's once. The second time, that first foot goes out. This is zone, corners up, safeties out. Slaughter with an excellent move to the outside, and there's the foot out of bounds. No catch, good call.
And not a white shirt in sight.
Oh.
Second down, blitz comes. Coriat and Harrod. O'Donnell threw it over his man. Intended again for Webster Slaughter. O'Donnell's getting those happy feet a little bit now. He's been banged around so much. He's a little quick on the trigger.
And of course the Colts are taking advantage of that.
Right.
You know, if they can get O'Donnell out, they'll take their chances with Frank Reich. And with the problems with the offensive line of the Jets, they're going to see a lot of blitzes. They're going to see an awful lot of pressure. There's Frank Reich wearing Boomer's number. Mr. Esiason, his good buddy, former Jet.
And a timeout taken by Indianapolis, I believe. It is. The defense calls a timeout. That's the second Indy timeout of this first half. It comes with 4:59 showing on the clock as Ron Earhart consults with Neil O'Donnell. And Derek Frazier of the Colts, another injury, is heading to the locker room. As we remind you, next Sunday, NFL action continues. Neil O'Donnell and the Jets will pay their annual visit to Miami to take on Dan Marino and the Miami Dolphins under their new head coach Jimmy Johnson. Already has the Dolphins rolling through week 1. Here's the lineup. Most of you will see the Jets against Miami. Others will see San Diego against Green Bay. And then in the second half of the doubleheader, boy, will this be an interesting game. The defending Super Bowl champion Cowboys hosting these Indianapolis Colts, the matchup that might have been last season, but for one play in Pittsburgh. As Frazier walks to the locker room, another Colt casualty. Diedrich Mathis, the rookie, replacing him, and McElroy is on the field also for the Colts. O'Donnell again is in trouble, rolls right into the pressure, sacked by Buchanan. Richard Dent was the other man in his face as the Colt pass rush continues to play havoc with the Jets offense.
And Jim Johnson of the Colts has taken no chances. Again, a zone blitz. You've got defensive linemen dropping off. Buchanan in the corner is held by Richie Anderson, number 20, but still gets to the quarterback with the old sackmaster himself, Richard Dent.
Right. Richie Anderson had a handful of jersey and it didn't matter. Hanson's punt. Harrison is back despite being shaken up a little bit. Fields it from the 9. Another penalty marker down. And so is Harrison at the 23-yard line. That's a 13-yard return of a 49-yard punt. Might have been a Ray Buchanan illegal block penalty. We'll check it.
And why don't they just build into every punt a penalty and just don't call it? Just
a little pause.
Leave it that way.
Okay, number 34, illegal push in the back, above the waist. The receivers will keep the ball. Foul was after the ball was kicked. Receivers will keep the ball after the penalty for their foul. First down.
There is Buchanan in his 4th year from Louisville.
Yeah, this one's pretty obvious. You got to get your head in front of that player, and he doesn't. You would think a guy with his experience would make the better choice. Just let him go.
So Buchanan's penalty puts the ball back inside the 10-yard line. Oakland and Kansas City scoreless in their game in the second quarter. High-scoring game in Pittsburgh. Tomczak coming through with a touchdown pass. A controversial quarterback change. Bears with an early lead. Buffalo up 7 on the Pats. And Houston leading Jacksonville. 4:39 left until halftime here, and the Colts leading the Jets 7-0. Jets defense hoping to keep the Colts bottled up. They're back at their own 7. Falk stopped at the 10-yard line, stacked up with Mark Spindler making first contact. Marshall Faulk has the game's only touchdown, but has rushed for a mere 10 yards.
Yeah, but last week he totaled 108 yards for the Colts. Lindy and Fonnie said, look, I'll take 108 yards from him every week, and Marshall doesn't complain. He knows he's going to break one eventually.
That's 46 yards on the ground and 62 in the air for his total last week. More valuable, at least in terms of yardage, as a receiver. Crockett, the quick handoff, fighting his way short of the 15-yard line. Mo Lewis threw him back. It'll be 3rd down.
Remember, too, now the Colts have those offensive line changes. Vickers out, Ozine is the replacement. And Lewenberg, is Lewenberg back in the game?
Not back yet. They've moved Loudermilk to the right guard spot and Eric Malum at center.
So we're talking considerable problems on the offensive line here.
And now it is Loudermilk actually over the football, and Malum takes up the guard spot. Harbaugh from the shotgun. Plenty of time. On the sideline and overshooting him. Marshall Faulk was, and that will draw a flag on the hit from Lonnie Young as he leveled Marshall Faulk. Faulk was free down the sideline. Harbaugh's pass too long, but Young blasted him and will draw the flag.
That's a 3rd down and 2. Jets stop him. Dumb play like that. Drive stays alive for the Colts.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 44 defense. It's a 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Now the fans are booing, and Richie Kotite doesn't appear to be too upset. But if you watch this, I do believe that Lonnie Young goes for Faulk's head, up towards his head, and I do think that's probably why it was a personal foul.
And that's Harbaugh's reaction to his overthrown pass, because he did have Faulk down the sideline. It amounts to, instead of a punting situation, a 1st down for Indianapolis and a mark-off that will amount to about 14 yards. So the Jets, again, are their own worst enemy, and despite Kotite's protests.
Yeah, and Marshall Faulk stays in the game. That's how tough a kid he is. He took a heck of a hit, and I do believe because Lonnie Young went for the head, they threw the flag.
6 penalties, 36 yards, and coming at the most inopportune times. That one was the biggest. They had forced the Colts to punt from deep in their own territory. Instead, an Indy 1st down. Harbaugh sacked at the 20. He appeared to have enough time, but instead held the ball and suffered his 2nd sack of the game. Give this one to Mark Spindler and Mike Chilinsky.
Good pressure. Here is Spindler. Here is Chilinsky. They were both in there, but again you see Harbaugh looking around. Can't really find a receiver. Just a nice little game run up front. When he draws it back the first time, it looks like Brock is the guy who makes the initial contact.
They were all over him, and now good field position for the Jets defense, trying to keep the Colts back down there deep from the 20. Harbaugh airs it for Dilger, and he's got it. What a catch! Ken Dilger, the tight end, rambling down the field, covered by the linebacker Bobby Houston. A mismatched tight end on linebacker. It goes for 51 yards. Harbaugh laid it right in his breadbasket.
Beautiful throw by Harbaugh, and Dilger stays with the pattern. Now Harbaugh waits for a long time to turn this one loose. Finally, when he puts it down there. Dilger, a big guy but with great speed and great hands, stays with it. 51-yard reception. Now how big is that penalty to Lonnie Young?
Timeout. No, 2-minute warning, excuse me. Timeout for the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes left in the half. Colts leading and threatening the NFL on NBC.
Here's Dilger out as a wide receiver. He's got Houston on him and just runs the pattern. It's beautifully executed, but again, a factor in anytime you play Indianapolis is how Lindy Infante employs or deploys his receivers.
First down Indy from the 29. Harbaugh to Crockett. He has it and is out of bounds at the 22-yard line. Chased out by Chad Cascadden.
How many guys have we seen him throw it to? I mean, everybody that's eligible, I think, has caught a ball.
And Harbaugh's hit 10 of 11 passes, Trump, for almost 160 yards in the first half. He has been pinpoint accuracy.
And to think that last year when the season started, he was the backup to Craig Erickson, had resigned himself to the fact that he was going to be a backup. He said, well, I'll be the best possible backup. The game 1 against Cincinnati, comes in relief. They lose in overtime. He comes in second half against the Jets here last year. A star is born, or reborn maybe.
Captain comeback, and now one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's naked out here, and he whips it to the end zone. Dilger, touchdown!
Oh, man. How good a play was that? There's no way the Colts should complete that pass for a touchdown. There is great pressure on Harbaugh. There is good coverage on Dilger. Neither means anything.
Dilger's 5th career reception and 5th catch of this game. 5 catches, 123 yards for a touchdown, and Harbaugh has been laser-like in his accuracy in this first half. The extra point from Blanchard. Up and through.
Man, Dilger, right?
Dilger with the 51-yard return in stride, and then a brilliant catch for the touchdown. 2 sparkling efforts from Harbaugh to Dilger.
Now look, there's pressure. There's excellent pressure. But Harbaugh throws well on the run, beautifully on the run. Gary Jones is right there for the coverage. Somehow Dilger catches it. He gets the ball inside the cone and over the plane of the goal line. An easy 6.
Harbaugh has missed only 1 pass in the first half. And Rich Kotite knows it well as he saw Harbaugh and Dilger hook up again to perfection. And it wasn't so much a lapse of the Jets defense that time as it was brilliant play by Dilger and Harbaugh.
What did Jim Harbaugh tell us last night? He said that this team believes in me.
You know, it was interesting that before the game during the week, Otis Smith of the New York Jets secondary was saying he thought Jim Harbaugh was just an ordinary quarterback, that he was good, but he's not the kind of guy you fear, not the kind of guy that can beat you, not the kind of guy that's going to cause you any problems. And Harbaugh was telling us last night that he probably would pay a little visit to Otis, my man Smith.
Otis, my man Smith.
And so far, the laugh has been Harbaugh's in this first half. There's Otis.
That's Lonnie Young.
That's Lonnie Young, excuse me, whose penalty gave the Colts new life, and they converted into their 2nd touchdown. It was Young with the hit of Falk that drew the penalty when the Colts would have punted from deep in their own territory. Van Dyke takes the kickoff. And hurdling players, another flag is down.
No, you're kidding.
Van Dyke to the 33. 26-yard return, tackled by Pollard. And the penalty upcoming.
Below the waist, 4-yard penalty, first down.
We got just enough of that to know that it's another Jets
84.
special teams penalty. Thank you. 84, Baxter, Fred Baxter. There he is.
Well, we've seen enough of Kenny Rose, the special teams coach of the Jets here.
I'd say that
he's been the star of the first half, hasn't he?
domination by the Colts.
Going at just great plays, too. I mean, they have made great plays with a patched-up offensive line already here in the first half.
On the defending team. On the defending team.
Up. Bob McElwee changing his call. It's against the Colts and not against the Jets.
Get out of here. Are you sure?
Slutker instead of Baxter. So mark it off against Indy. 1:43 left till halftime. Jets trailing 14-0 with the football.
And well, this is a plus. They were down 31-0 last week in Denver, so they're making progress.
Ever the optimist.
The officiating crew is still talking out here. We're not sure who it's going to be on.
They've got us guessing.
Yeah, it is against the Colts.
Knock that thing around a little bit, Bob. See if you can get it working. That's what
Penalty
I do.
will be assessed from the end of the run against the defense. 15 yards, first down.
Now there's a veteran referee.
Yeah, you got it working. That's what I do when something won't work. Just whack it good.
Absolutely. Mike doesn't work. Bob's been around the microphone long enough to know how to fix it.
Our crack NBC technicians, I've seen them do that a lot.
Yeah, duct tape and a hammer. We can go on here anywhere.
Spot the ball out at the 44-yard line. So the Jets, with a break on the penalty, some decent field position for a change. Their best field position of the first half. 4 wide receiver formation. From the shotgun, O'Donnell has a man open. It's Corbett across midfield, dives to the 45. He'll have the first down. Another good effort by Wayne Corbett. This guy never leaves anything on the field.
Nicknamed Nails for Lenny Dykstra. I mean, he'll cover punts, he'll cover kickoffs, he'll sweep up. He doesn't care.
Close enough that they'll measure for the first down as he made the diving effort. I thought he had it, maybe not. We'll see where the spot will put the football. And Corbett, a little woozy, maybe fell on the football as he dived forward. No, I guess he had it out in front of him anyway. When he hit the turf, it kind of knocked the wind out.
And he also got a nice block from Keyshawn Johnson there right at the end. Kept the man off of him.
And he did get the first down, just by inches. 1:27 left till halftime. Don't forget the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC halftime report coming up at the intermission. The Jets have a full complement of timeouts remaining. Nice play by O'Donnell. He got it to Richie Anderson. Anderson with a good cutback. He's fighting to the 30-yard line. Another Jets first down. Mathis the stop after a 15-yard gain. Good improvisation by O'Donnell, who calls for the timeout. The Jets will have 2 left. They stop the clock at 1:09.
Boy, that's great vision. You know, being flushed from the pocket like that, keeping your head up, still looking for that receiver. He sees that green jersey just flash by, gets it in the hands of Richie Anderson, turns a negative certainly into a positive.
Now 2 timeouts left at 1:09.
That's interesting. When you talk to O'Donnell, he's kind of serving as an assistant coach here. This is the offense that he knows best under Ron Earhart, so he's trying to encourage the receivers. This is what I want you to do. Do this so that everybody's at least in tune, know what each other's doing. And that's one of the insidious parts of free agency. These guys come in here, they pay them a lot of money. They want them to play now, perform now, contribute now. It's not quite that easy.
Harbaugh is not happy with something.
A new dad.
Yeah, Jim Jr. born this past Wednesday. Mom Maya and Jim Jr. doing fine, and so recent that Jim doesn't even have pictures yet.
Yeah, he did tell his wife, the baby was born 3 weeks early, he did tell his wife, look, if you go into labor Sunday, I'll be in the Meadowlands. Don't expect me to be David Williams and come back.
Hopefully somewhere beyond the Jets' 40-yard line, he said. Here's O'Donnell. Lofting it for Keyshawn Johnson. He can't get there. The pass overthrown. Ray McElroy was covering Johnson, but he had a lane to the end zone had the pass been on target.
Big, long strider. Let's see the move around McElroy. Excellent move. Very good move. You know, and this kid was at USC, was such a target. John Robinson and his staff designed a package where he was a fullback, would go in motion, tight end go in motion because he was double and triple teamed all the time. But I'd rather see him catching the ball over the middle. Going deep is the easiest thing for rookie receivers to do.
Wide to the bottom of the screen was Johnson. Flag down. O'Donnell has Keyshawn Johnson. It will be a first down if it stands.
That's the pattern I'm looking for.
Right.
There's the square in.
14 yards. Mathis the stop, but the penalty, will it? It is offside against the Colts.
Lined up in the neutral zone. Penalty is declined.
Play will stand. Keyshawn Johnson's second reception of the game.
This is nice. The easiest thing for coaches to do with a rookie receiver is just run him to the end zone. Good release inside. He's taking a look inside. Nice sharp break right off of Crabette. Goes up and gets the football. This kid's 6'3", 220. He's going to wreak havoc with a lot of defensive backs before his career is over.
A lot of publicity for a belly aching about playing time. We talked to him yesterday, but a smile a mile wide most of the time. O'Donnell's pass, again intended for Keyshawn Johnson and incomplete. Eugene Daniel was defending Johnson that time. It was Daniel that made a couple of plays to save the game against Arizona last week.
I thought the articles I read about Keyshawn Johnson wanting to play and in the press questioning the head coach, well, you can't take that kind of criticism. I mean, wouldn't you rather have a rookie first-round draft choice, a first kind of draft, want to be in the lineup, contribute more? I admire the kid for doing that. Come on, give me a shot. Give me a chance.
And apparently no animosity between teammates, coaches, and Johnson.
Yeah.
Linebackers were even ribbing him, calling the decoy. Here it must be just a decoy. O'Donnell on target. Crabette. Nice move to the 5-yard line. Wayne Crabette. 45 seconds. Timeout, Jets.
Just a little delay run by Crabette. Keyshawn Johnson with a nice block.
And Keyshawn Johnson, the man that said he should be starting in front of Crabette. And the two have made some big plays on this drive. This one 11 yards.
You can see O'Donnell's reads, but this is just a delay. Excellent pattern run by Crabette. He just stops, avoids the tackle, gets by Diedrich Mathis. Tough kid, 11-yard pickup. The hero of Hofstra. 2 years ago, he's standing outside the ropes at Hofstra where the Jets practice, watching Al Toon, watching Art Monk. Makes the team. They'll probably name a building in Hofstra after this kid.
Or the stadium.
Or the stadium.
3 catches, 65 yards here in the first half. One of the few bright spots for the Jets, who have a chance to get some points before halftime. First and goal from the Indianapolis 6-yard line. 44 seconds left in the half. 14-0 Indy. 14-0. If the Jets choose to rush it in, it would be a rare thing. Second play of the drive, or seventh play of the drive, excuse me, not second, seventh play.
This is a throw. You see the way O'Donnell was looking at the safeties?
For the corner of the end zone and incomplete, intended for Adrian Morrell out of the backfield, defended by the rookie linebacker Sammy Burroughs. The last 3 seasons, rushing touchdowns have been few and far between. Only 2 last year.
That's hard to do in 16 football games. Even losing 13 of the 16, that's still hard to do.
Second fewest since 1940. The Eagles had only 2 in 72. Because of the time situation here, they may continue to throw for it as the Colts show blitz. And will they be caught offside? This could be a gift for the Jets as O'Donnell varied the count, but no, it'll be against New York. Harry Boatswain, who is filling in for Jumbo Elliott at left tackle, had movement, and it'll be
start.
Yeah, he was
Prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty, second down.
He was lined up against Richard Dent. That'll make you shake and shudder a little bit. Here is Boatswain right here, and Richard Dent. You see the fake?
I don't know.
Well, that's.
I didn't see.
I didn't either. Once you put that hand on the ground, the offensive lineman is not allowed any movement whatsoever.
I didn't see much flinch from that shot anyway on Boatswain. Ball back at the 11, second and goal. Fade and incomplete. Mathis was defending Jeff Graham, and Mathis positioned his body between Graham and the football.
and he did not turn around and look at the football, but there's no contact. Left of the screen, he just runs with him, figures out the angle. I didn't see any contact.
Nope.
Excellent play.
Right.
Good defense.
And in fact, Mathis in the act of turning back to the football when the pigskin struck him on the shoulder.
The one thing I would say is if I'm going to do that again, I try 6'3" Keyshawn Johnson.
Very good. Johnson in the slot, top of the screen. 3rd and goal, now in motion Johnson. O'Donnell looked twice, has a man. Touchdown! Johnson's first as a pro.
Well, with that 16-day holdout, we know what he practiced, don't we?
Never shy about celebrating. In fact, once in high school, after scoring a touchdown, he ran all the way out of the stadium to a nearby beach. Another time after scoring a touchdown, he ran to the concession stand, ordered a soft drink. Lowry's extra point up and good. And with 31 seconds left in the half, Keyshawn Johnson, first player taken in the draft, has the first of many NFL touchdowns.
Yeah, and if this play is designed and executed as it's supposed to, he doesn't get the football. I mean, he is about the 4th receiver in the progression. O'Donnell looking right, in desperation goes left. The coverage was dropped ever so slightly by Buchanan, 34. Johnson makes the catch. And, you know, around here, you better hang on to that helmet. It can disappear. This is no pattern run. Ray Buchanan just drops the coverage. O'Donnell finds him. First time in the end zone as an NFL player, you betcha. Send that one back to Mom Vivian. She can put that in that new house he's building for in Tarzana.
And he'll be on the phone to his former roommate Kareem Abdul-Jabbar tonight, I'm sure. And the Dolphins rookie will compare notes. He had over 100 yards rushing for Miami last week. Keyshawn Johnson, vocal. Not enough playing time, gets his first touchdown. And what about Wayne Corbett, the unsung hero of these New York Jets? Big plays on that drive to keep it alive. Silvestri's kick reaches the end zone for the touchback.
Yeah, isn't it the way it works? One guy does all the work. Corbett makes the tough catches. Keyshawn Johnson just coverage is dropped on him. Quarterback finds him, and hey, Corbett doesn't care. Give me a win.
Yeah, he looks as happy as Johnson. Well, maybe not quite. 9-play drive. Johnson had his first pro touchdown, 11 yards from O'Donnell, who did a good job of finding the open man. There is O'Donnell. A bright spark for him, too. And with 31 seconds left till halftime, the Jets have something to talk about. Perhaps to gather a little momentum. That's their best drive of this young season. Were it not for the Lonnie Young unfortunate penalty, might have a tie game here. We'll see what Harbaugh elects to do with 31 seconds remaining. They have only one timeout. From the shotgun, he'll hand it to Marshall Faulk, who takes it to the 25-yard line, where Lonnie Young makes the tackle. Don't forget the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC halftime report coming up next with Greg Gumbel, Mike Ditka, Joe Gibbs, and Chris Collinsworth. Bob Costas, too, to interview John Elway, as they'll bring you all the first half scores and highlights in this week 2 of the NFL season. And with 1 second left, the first half will come to a close. A spark by the Jets in the closing couple of minutes. Keyshawn Johnson's first pro touchdown draws them within 7. At the end of the first half from the Meadowlands, 14-7 Indy. You're watching the NFL on NBC. Getting ready to start the second half with the Colts leading the Jets 14-7. Nice drive by the Jets just before halftime to narrow that margin to 7. And O'Donnell has been battered and bruised a little bit in the first half again, but came on with that nice drive. Meanwhile, Jim Harbaugh of the Colts has been on target all afternoon.
Absolutely extraordinary. He's 11 of 12, and the one miss was to Marvin Harrison, the rookie. And Marvin Harrison said, look, that was my fault. 11 of 12, 182 yardage, 1 touchdown. O'Donnell, as you said, been flushed consistently in this first half. But that final drive probably going to give the Jets a nice little pump for the beginning of the second half, but they do have to protect Neil O'Donnell.
And the Jets will kick off to get the game underway as Silvestri boots it and take it at the 5-yard line. Aaron Bailey returning it to the 25-yard line as we take a look at our Coors Light halftime stats, which don't look real good at the moment.
Hard to get 21 points out of those numbers.
We told you the humidity was high. It's gotten into that machine.
We'll have him. We'll have him.
20-yard return by Aaron Bailey gives the Colts the ball at the 26-yard line. Colts dominating early in terms of yardage and points. At one time led 14-0 before that nice drive with the Jets to close the half. Marshall Faulk tries the center of the line and gets whacked down to the turf by Matt Brock.
I tell you, I mean, this is not off of the score at the end of the first half. When the Jets get healthy, they're going to win some games. This is not as bad a team as they looked last week and as they've looked in a few instances here in the first half.
Mike Shalinsky on one knee shaking up a bit, Trump.
He's one of those other defensive tackles. This is a solid defense. This team, their 3 linebackers, I think, will compare with anybody in the league. There's Vicarelli, the defensive coordinator. Houston, Marvin Jones, and Mo Lewis, I think, are quality. They have 2 excellent corners. Safeties above average. Defensive line, it's a shame they lost Eric Howard. He would have been a big help. But this defense, for the most part, if the offense can keep from turning the ball over, this defense will stand up against a lot of football teams. And the offense, I think, when you get Jumbo in there and he's healthy, Richie Kotite is reasonably optimistic. And I understand why. They've got some players.
Pretty shocking a week ago when this defense surrendered 31 points to the Broncos. One thing they have done today, they have bottled up Marshall Faulk. 9 carries, 16 yards. Here he is again, cutting it back. Faulk turns the corner and gets to the 35-yard line. He'll be about a yard short of the first down. Chased out of bounds and wrapped up around the shoulder pads by Lonnie Young.
And he looked like he pulled a hamstring. Looks like he's hurt. 44. Yeah, your point about, you've also got Marshall Faulk still on the turf here at the Meadowlands.
Rolling to the sideline.
Play designed to originally go left. He comes back all the way to the right. Lonnie Young, 44, drags him.
Aaron Glenn hits him high.
He kind of got his legs and feet caught up underneath Lonnie Young. And you can see the grimace on Marshall Faulk's face.
Young hit him high and then slid down low and then had a hold of his legs when Glenn came on to hit him high.
Yeah. Couldn't really tell exactly what happened, but it looks like they're working on his right ankle.
A lot of injured Colts today already.
That's Leuenberg, and that's Vickers.
Right,
both on crutches.
Lamont Warren has replaced Marshall Faulk. Flags down as Harbaugh scrambles to the sideline. He'll have a first down if it stands. On the side.
Tom, I was going to mention, this is unusual. 2 years this kid has been in every play. He has not been someone who has been injured at all. He has been their wild card. They've always been able to count on him.
Although he did go down at the end of last season.
And for the playoffs, yeah.
He was lost in the playoffs.
Yeah, right leg, right foot.
Penalty will be against New York and will give Indianapolis a first down at the 40-yard line.
See the armband there for Jim Harbaugh. Lindy and Fonte still putting his offense in. It's still growing page by page. And the quarterbacks in the league today, with all the plays they have in that, they got to have eagle-eye vision just to read it. Written in such small print there on their wrist.
Warren and Crockett are the split backs here. Harbaugh in trouble. Throws it away over the head of Lamont Warren. Went down anyway. Bobby Hamilton hit him, but no penalty markers down.
And Tom, it looked like that's the first time I've seen the injuries to the offensive line have an effect. Hamilton jumped right inside the right tackle, Matthews, and was directly in the face of Jim Harbaugh. Very little protection there.
2nd and 10 for Indianapolis. We're in the 3rd quarter, just over 13 minutes left, and it's 14-7. Draw play handoff. Crockett ducked away for a moment, but not for long, as Bobby Hamilton will get credit for the stop, along with Mo Lewis and Mark Spindler.
There was nothing there to begin with. I mean, you do want to get players. There's Marshall Faulk on the sideline. That's where the focus of the fans in Indianapolis and the coaching staff of the Colts is.
4 wide receivers in this formation for the Colts on 3rd and 12. They've converted 1 of 3. Harbaugh loads it up and sends it for Harrison, who can't find it. Harrison turned around while he was heading downfield, couldn't locate the football. It falls incomplete.
This was nice coverage by Aaron Glenn. Only 2 touchdowns thrown over him last year. And he says, the big guys I treat like gnats, just all over him, just never take my hands off of them. And that's the case. Aaron Glenn started as a rookie out of Texas A&M. Not big. You know, he's under 5'10". But he can cover anybody in this league.
So Jim Harbaugh, who missed only 1 pass in the first half, throws 2 straight incompletions and Gardocki punts. Corbett, fair catch at the 21-yard line. So the Jets defense does its job, turning it over to the offense for their first possession of the second half when we return.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. By Priority Mail from the U.S. Postal Service. And by Jiffy Lube, America's favorite oil change.
Tom Hammond, Bob Trumpy from the Meadowlands. Marshall Faulk shaken up on that last series for the Indianapolis Colts. They give up the football as Faulk tries to get some attention to his injuries. And the Jets take over at their own 22-yard line. Adrian Morrell. Or excuse me, it is Richie Anderson who lugs it across the 25-yard line. Well, we've banged on that machine a couple of times, and now we proudly present to you the Coors Light halftime stats.
And look here. No turnovers for the Jets. Quite a difference.
Those stats were heavily in favor of the Colts early in the first half, but that last drive, scoring drive for the Jets, sort of evened things up. And O'Donnell trying to build on that here in the 3rd quarter. Swing it complete to Anderson. Anderson stopped about a yard short of the first down. Jeff Harrod made a nice open field tackle. Wasn't real pretty, but got the job done.
Boy, he sure did make a nice open field tackle. Anderson, an excellent receiver. And again, a part of this Ron Earhart offense is that flood an area with receivers. Find one that's open. And Richie Anderson, although he's not been that consistent a performer, there's a lot of other people they like more, but he's a willing blocker for Adrian Morrell, can catch the football. And the fullback in Earhart's offense must catch the football.
As you see the other scores here at the Meadowlands, 14-7. Anderson didn't need much. And he didn't get much, but I think it's enough for the first down. What about those Carolina Panthers bidding to go 2?
They're amazing, aren't they? Something they're playing like an expansion team, and they didn't last year either.
Won 7 games, most ever for an expansion team. Going to measure on this one. it is enough for the first down. So the Jets open the second half with a first down. And Morrell out of the game with Reggie Cobb in to replace him in the backfield. Cobb, 6th year from Tennessee, signed as a free agent, was drafted back in 1990 by Tampa Bay in the second round, played a game for Jacksonville and released last season, spent 4 years in Tampa, 3 years as their top rusher, a year in Green Bay, and 1 game last year in Jacksonville. He's the lone setback. O'Donnell swings it complete to Reggie Cobb, and he's blasted out of bounds at the 36-yard line. Ray Buchanan covering for the Colts. Tape job on Marshall Faulk's foot.
Hard to tell what they're trying to treat there. Sprained arch, turf toe. Can't really tell.
Maybe just some kind of bruise. I saw kind of a pad under that tape. He has had only 25 yards rushing in 10 carries. So a sprained right toe is the word from the sideline on Faulk. Harrod shows blitz, hand it to Reggie Cobb. And Cobb fights his way across the 40-yard line. It'll be 3rd and a couple of yards to go for the Jets. Sammy Burroughs, the tackler for Indianapolis.
That was an awful nice move by Reggie Cobb. He avoided Quentin Coriat right at the line of scrimmage, jumped inside of him. Well, they like Reggie Cobb. Some of these kids, when they're drafted, there's Coriat, just jumped right inside of his attempted tackle. Some of these kids, when they're drafted and drafted so high, they come in with this big aura around him. And Cobb didn't work out in Tampa, but he comes here humble.
2 tight ends here. Cobb is the running back on 3rd and 2. Hand off to Reggie Cobb, cutting up on the corner. Ooh. Good momentum carried him to the first down. Boy, he made a cut and really did get some power off that cut to get the first down. Eugene Daniel tackled him.
Lowered his shoulder. A lot of running backs, you'll see them just keep going to the outside. But Cobb plants that left foot, cuts up there, runs right over Eugene Daniel, as you said, and it's enough for a first down pickup.
Impressive run here by Reggie Cobb. Keyshawn Johnson, the rookie, gave him a block to enable him to get that momentum and cut up the field.
Sammy Burroughs, 53, the linebacker.
O'Donnell with a first down pass. Chased from the pocket. Finds a man. It's complete to Anderson. Dancing his way to midfield. Nice run after the catch for Richie Anderson, who had it at the line of scrimmage. Managed to get 5 yards out of it.
You know, the thing I like about O'Donnell, it shows in little ways, but he's beginning to gain some confidence in what's going on around him here. Young quarterbacks or quarterbacks sometimes in a new system, you see him panic. And O'Donnell's been flushed, had to move a lot, but he keeps his presence, his head, looking for that outlet receiver. Found him again.
Found his rhythm on that scoring drive to close the half and keeps it going at midfield. Down the sideline, overshooting Webster Slaughter. Slaughter appeared to come out of his break just a little slow, hesitated for a moment, and that threw off the timing of the pattern. He would have been open.
Yeah, he was also out of bounds. The officials threw both halves down. Yeah, he stepped on the out of bounds marker. Again, that double zone by the Colts. Corners up, safeties out, funnel him to the outside.
Big 3rd and 5 now from the mid-yard stripe coming up, midfield stripe. 9th play of the drive for Neil O'Donnell.
And Crabette comes back in the game. He's the go-get-it kid.
Made some big plays on the scoring drive. O'Donnell, quick toss. You called it. Crabette. Does he have enough for the first down? Eugene Daniel hit him hard. It'll be close to the first down, and Crabette took a shot to the ribs from the veteran Eugene Daniel.
Well, about right now, Crabette will pay half of his game check for a breath of air.
Well, his game check isn't much, though.
I don't care. This is a shot right in the ribs. It's a delay. Daniel comes from the right. Crabette hangs onto the football. That's impressive.
Daniel leveled him, and Wayne is still feeling the effects. And as we said, Daniel last week made 2 goal line pass defenses to save the win over Arizona. We'll take a break. Back in a moment. 4th down, less than a yard, and the Jets will go for it. Hand off to Anderson, spinning his way for the New York first down. Just before we left for that commercial, Wayne Krabet shaken up. Was able to leave the field, trotted off the field, has his helmet back on, and as you see, taking some deep breaths. Appeared to have the air knocked out of him, and will return to the game.
Yeah, 4 catches, 70 yards. That drive at the end of the first half, most of it was him.
Jets keep their drive going. They're at the 44 of the Colts. They trail 14-7. O'Donnell has Anderson wide open. Richie Anderson close to another first down. Jeff Herrod got him by the ankles. O'Donnell, since that last drive to close the first half, has found his rhythm, Bob, and he's been much sharper.
Yeah, you can also, I think, give an assist to Earhart because Earhart has shortened the patterns. You don't see Neil O'Donnell looking down the field that much. They're going with the underneath stuff. Take no chances with O'Donnell getting hit again. Another option that Earhart has in this offense.
12th play of this long drive coming up. Cobb has the first down just short of the 30-yard line. Bernard Whittington the tackle, and the Colts continue to suffer injury after injury. The latest to go down, Derek Frazier, the cornerback who has suffered a broken right arm. You'll remember he made a saving tackle with his forearm on Wayne Krabet during that long drive by the Jets to close the half. He stuck the arm out and tripped up Krabet, but broke that forearm in the process.
Telling me he won't return?
Yes. One of several Colts. O'Donnell down the sideline for Keyshawn Johnson, who has the score for New York. And it's incomplete with Ray Buchanan again locked up man for man on Keyshawn Johnson.
I have a feeling Keyshawn Johnson throughout his career, if he stays healthy, he's going to get a lot of matchup coverage, a lot of man-to-man at 6'3", 220.
But a rare thing for him compared to his college days to see only one man defending him, huh?
Yeah, they had linebackers, they had brackets, they had deep and short, they had inside, outside. I mean, he's still learning, but he's going to get an awful lot of attention the more he plays.
He's in the slot, bottom of the screen. 14th play of the drive. It's 2nd and long. Cobb hit in the backfield, got away from the first 2, but not the third. Sammy Burroughs, who takes him to the turf for a loss of 3.
Well, didn't fool anybody.
McCoy had him for a moment. He got away.
Almost the old Statue of Liberty play.
Saw them do that in practice yesterday.
Yeah, we did.
And you said Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, but Richie Anderson, 20, just went right by Sammy Burroughs, and Burroughs is there to at least assist on the tackle.
So now we reach the 15th play of the drive. Only 2 of 8 on 3rd and long. It's 3rd and 13. O'Donnell's in the shotgun. Nice defense. Webster Slaughter came out of the break, and timing it immediately was Ray McElroy, who knocked the pass to the turf. Beautiful timing by number 40 McElroy.
Single coverage. McElroy did an excellent job of getting just a hand in front of Webster Slaughter to knock that ball away.
And a timeout has been taken by the Jets.
Yeah, they're thinking about going for it here on 4th and 12.
O'Donnell to the sideline as they'll talk it over. A timeout with 4:40 left in the 3rd quarter. 14-7 Indy. You're watching the NFL on NBC.
Let's see, 34-7.
Back at the Meadowlands, Brian Hansen punting on 4th down as the Jets pass up a field goal attempt, and they will pin the Colts deep on the punt by Hansen. A bizarre scene while we were gone away for commercial, as Nick Lowry was out on the field thinking he was going to attempt about a 50-yard field goal. Dave Alexander said, nope, we're going to punt it. And they have. Back to the Meadowlands in a moment. Colts take over at their own 13-yard line as the Jets elect to punt and do pin the Colts deep. Harbaugh got away and completed the pass to Dilger. Another improvisation by Jim Harbaugh to buy a little time and make the completion. Bobby Hamilton nearly had him for a big loss. Meanwhile, again, while we were away, Nick Lowry wanting an explanation of why he was not allowed to try a 50-yard field goal. He hasn't attempted a field goal this season, still has not. as the Jets put together a 15-play drive that covered nearly 8 minutes and get nothing for it. They do pin Indianapolis deep, but a pass completion for 5 yards takes it out to the 18. And that'll be 5 more backed off against the Colts as Tony Mandarich. You know the story of Mandarich, who was out of football since '91, making a return. The former second player taken in the draft by Green Bay way back in '89. Guilty of the false start.
He's been living on a farm up in Traverse City, Michigan, 112-acre farm for the last several years. Gave Lindy Infante a call. Lindy drafted him when he was in Green Bay, and they've got Mandarich playing guard. Now, he's a tackle, always has been a tackle.
As you see the other scores, 3:40 left in the third quarter here, 14-7 Indy. Marshall Faulk still on the sideline after injuring his toe. Harbaugh's pass wide open, caught by Marvin Harrison, and Harrison has an Indy first down, tracked down by Gary Jones. So the rookie Harrison with a clutch catch for 20 yards. He's from Philadelphia. He has about 40 tickets for friends and family today. They'll like this one.
Watch this. This is Mandarich. Watch this clear miss as he sets up. Spindler goes right by him, and Harbaugh stands in there, still makes the completion. Harrison on the crossing pattern. You see the traffic. Aaron Glenn, 31, kind of gets lost in the shuffle there. And this kid's made a heck of a contribution the first 2 weeks for the Colts.
Crockett to the 35. Returning to the derisive remarks earlier in the week by Otis Smith of the Jets about Jim Harbaugh. Just watching him in action here, can there still be doubters?
No. The manner in which he's performed under the circumstances, considering that this time last year, let's see, there's what, 2:35 to go in the third. He was in the game. But in the first half of this game last year, still a backup quarterback. There's going to be nothing other. The Colts gave up a first-round draft choice for Craig Erickson as Marshall Faulk, limping badly, is leaving the field.
Blitz comes from the Jets defense. Colts pick it up, and Warren with the catch from Harbaugh. Wrestled down by Victor Green. It'll be third down.
Harbaugh has not been protected that well today. Again, even though this is a short drop, there was pressure. He had the patience to wait. And Mandarich at right guard. Matthews at right tackle. You see 53 Cascadden making a run at him. He still stands there and makes the completion. Otis is wrong. Jim Harbaugh is.
He's the real deal.
Yes, he is.
Marshall Faulk heading to the locker room. It's 3rd and 1. This is when they would use him. Instead, it's Warren, tackled in the backfield by Mo Lewis. Lewis got there almost quicker than Warren to make the big defensive play.
How about that for timing? A lot of times you see players try that. Guests have to back off because they missed the timing, but Mo Lewis timed it perfectly. Just as the ball is snapped, no one can lay a glove on him. Mandarich, 79, put his head down on the ground. That's 2 whiffs out of 3 attempted blocks.
So Mo Lewis, who spent all summer fishing, often visiting 3 lakes in a single day in Georgia, might have been contemplating a play like that. Here's the punt. Gardocki to Corbett, signals fair catch, lets it bounce. And it'll be down at the 8-yard line. Good coverage by the Colts, a 54-yard Gardocki punt. Lewis, though, made the big defensive play.
You're watching the NFL on NBC.
You're going to see Lewis coming in here by the shot, but Tony Mandarich playing guard. Puts his head down. This is another whiff. Watch what happens. Boom. Mo Lewis will get the most running backs if the guard doesn't lay a glove on him.
So the Jets take over for the 3rd time today, starting inside their 10. Morrell tries to bang it out and get a few yards breathing room. Tony Siragusa made the tackle, and there's Mandarich.
They apparently collected a lot of tattoos while he was out of the NFL. He's got them up and down each arm, so he knows which one is his right arm and his left arm.
Approaching the end of the 3rd quarter, the rain has started to fall at the Meadowlands. Inside the final 10 seconds, see if the Jets can get a playoff. They won't attempt it. They'll walk to the other end instead. So the third quarter comes to a close with Indianapolis clinging to a 14-7 lead. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Presented by the authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the NFL is prohibited.
Close games have been the norm in this series between the Jets and the Colts. Wayne Chrebet on the sideline looking to make another big play in a 14-7 game. Hoping to get a chance to contribute. Chrebet, who had some key plays on the Jets scoring drive to win the first half. Scoreless third quarter. We open the fourth with a run by Adrian Morrell. Excuse me, it was Reggie Cobb and not Morrell. Tackled by Quentin Coriat.
At 28-29. They run very similarly. They're taped similarly. It's hard to pick, separate one from the other. We don't have a report of any injury to Adrian Morrell.
It's 3rd and 4. Jets hoping for a rare conversion on 3rd and long. O'Donnell finds Slaughter. And a penalty marker.
That might be on Slaughter. Slaughter just celebrated like going to get a penalty on me. That may be against. It is against Slaughter.
Yep. It'll be offensive interference against Webster Slaughter as the flag came flying in. And Webster argues his case and not happy, but in the midst of this shower, see if he pushes
Offensive
off.
pass interference, number 40. Half the distance to the goal line.
Well, I didn't see anything interference there. Contact between the two. McElroy had his hands up. Might have even been illegal contact on him outside the 5-yard zone.
Yeah, I think when McElroy slipped, that kind of convinced the official that it had to be offensive pass interference.
So spot the ball back at the Jets 7. It'll be 3rd and 11. 9th penalty against New York for 43 yards. Costly ones. One of those led to the Colts' 2nd touchdown. The margin of difference at the moment.
And boy, have the Jets had lousy field position all day long, haven't they?
Yes, they sure have. O'Donnell has Chrebet, but he'll be short of the first down by a couple of yards. Diedrich Mathis and Ray Buchanan combining to stop Wayne Chrebet a couple of yards short. So Hansen is on to punt for New York with 13:40 and counting left in the game. 7th punt of the day for Hansen to Marvin Harrison, the rookie from Syracuse. Harrison at the 45 falls down and then stopped before he can get up. There's a flag back upfield. We've had a flag on almost every punt of the day. This one against New York. 38-yard punt only. Indianapolis may decline this penalty.
I don't know, though.
Yeah.
You always have coaches that make them cover. Yeah,
Holding number 32, offense. Half the distance to the goal line. Repeat 4th down.
Sheridan May was guilty of the hold. It's been a long and now wet afternoon for the special teams of the Jets.
Make them cover it again, you know. You might just wear somebody out. You might go after the punter. Try anything.
So Hansen will have to do it all over after a 38-yard effort through the raindrops. Harrison trying to keep his hands dry.
Yeah, he's used to playing in that dome up in Syracuse.
Right.
You know, to deal with the rain.
Got the gloves on. Looks like a better punt this time by Hansen. In fact, Harrison has to backtrack and take it over his shoulder. Slips at the 30. Got a better grip on the football and turns the corner. Looks for a block Cuts upfield. Nice return to the 45-yard line of the Jets. Mark it at the 43. Another great return. 26 yards by Harrison after Hansen had boomed it 62. Good field position for the Colts.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Visa, the preferred card of the NFL. It's everywhere you want to be. By Radio Shack, you've got questions, we've got answers. By Hertz, for business, for pleasure, nobody does it exactly like Hertz.
Shelter is where you can find it as the rain comes down more heavily at the Meadowlands. Fred Baxter, one of the Jets, looking on and soaked already. Colts best field position of the day as they made up 13 yards by taking the penalty after the good return by Harrison. Harbaugh flings it downfield over the head of his intended receiver as he was feeling the pressure. It was Harrison racing downfield.
I do notice that Tony Mandarich is out of the ball game, but there was still good pressure by the Jets. They have put somebody else at guard. Let's see if we can pick up who it is. It's Malum, 65, goes back to guard. Mo Lewis right in Jim Harbaugh's face. Probably the first real solid hit that Harbaugh has had all day. And there's Tony Mandarich on the sideline. Maybe there for a while.
Harbaugh hit from behind, but had plenty of time, and guess who? Ken Dilger, the tight end, all the way to the 15-yard line. Marvin Jones hits him there, but Ken Dilger has made the big plays for the Colts today. That one covered 28 yards.
It looked like, watch the pressure, number one. Again, decent pressure by the New York Jets. Mo Lewis, 57, comes on the blitz on the outside, but both Victor Green, 21, and Gary Jones, 25, they stay with Marvin Harrison, leave Dilger alone. And he is out there all by himself to make the reception. There's Green, 21, finally coming into the picture, along with Jones. Busted coverage there.
First down, Colts. Zach Crockett slammed down short of the 10-yard line.
I'm no doctor, but the way Marshall Faulk limped off the field, I think the Colts are going to have to get Zach Crockett.
The Colts have lost, Bob, 3 starters on offense. Vickers, Leuenberg, and Faulk. And at least 2 starters on defense, Grant and Frazier. And Tony Bennett hasn't played in a while either. So, man, this has been a costly game in terms of injuries for the Colts, clinging to a 14-7 lead and, again, threatening the Jets' goal line.
It's again.
Harbaugh hangs it up and broken up. Aaron Bailey defended by Aaron Glenn, and Glenn gets the best of it.
Bailey's lobbying for some kind of interference again, as Aaron Glenn told us. You know, he's getting up limping now,
holding his right shoulder.
But again, he tries to act like a gnat, you know, not big, but he got his head back looking at the ball. No reason to think that there's pass interference. Lands on his right shoulder and lands on it hard. And he's going to stay in the game.
And facing 4 wide receivers, Dawkins, Stabline, Harrison, and Bailey on 3rd and 7 from the Jet 12. Timeout taken by the Colts. Play clock ticking away for Harbaugh. He plays it safe and calls time. We'll face that 3rd and 7 deep in Jet territory when we come back to the Meadowlands.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Call now to enjoy a hot and delicious Domino's Pizza during the game. For hot and wow, call Domino's now.
Rain and wind continue to pelt the fans at the Meadowlands, trying to rally the Jets defense for a big 3rd and 7 play from the New York 12-yard line. The Colts leading 14-7, but 11:25 left in the 4th quarter.
Tom, am I correct that these fans are cheering a thunderstorm? I mean, let's make sure we report this accurately. They're celebrating a thunderstorm. Okay, fine. Whatever makes your weekend, you know?
Well, there hasn't been much to cheer about in a long time here for the Jets fans. Harbaugh has Dawkins, Stabline, Harrison, and Bailey as wideouts. He's in the shotgun. Quarterback draw. Harbaugh will score. What a brilliant call. A quarterback draw. Jim Harbaugh.
And Tom, he made a great adjustment. I mean, the Jets said everybody but their coaches. And he didn't go straight up the middle. He kind of looked where the blitzer was and went to the gap outside of him. Again, good presence by Jim Harbaugh.
Gary Blanchard to add the extra point. And he missed it. Flag down. Blanchard flat on his
Personal
back.
foul, unnecessary roughness, number 99.
It was Hugh Douglas that destroyed Gary Blanchard. Blanchard now up trying to shake it off.
Kickers are first and foremost actors. Then they're athletes. Blanchard was a prime example of that.
And the fans applaud the thunder, and not the thundering hooves of the Colts either. Blanchard, let's see if Douglas. You're right, Bob, you're right.
We're talking major dive.
You called that one, and, but it appears that Blanchard will get another try after missing the point after. So, you think it'd be all right to kick this?
I'm not sure. I thought they'd bring the stretcher. Do surgery right there on the 10-yard line.
Gardocki had a little trouble getting the wet football down, but finally placed it perfectly. And Blanchard, he feels that. That last hit, he got the extra point. Is 21-7. But the touchdown was a thing of beauty for Jim Harbaugh.
You called it correctly. Watch all the blitzing that they're faking. Harbaugh knows what's coming. He waits a little bit, and really, he doesn't go where the play is designed. He goes where the blitzer is not. Gary Jones, 25, gets turned by the left guard. He trots in. He spikes the football. Oh, he's going to keep it.
Yeah, and you know he may send it home to Jim Jr. What a week this has been. Harbaugh, heads up play, races now untouched into the end zone. He'll hang on to that football, and maybe it'll go into his trophy case, and sometime Jim Jr. may have a look at it. He says, save this ball. Dedicating it to Jim Jr. there. He is born on Wednesday. That's Jay Harbaugh on the right of the screen, whom Jim and Maya are adopting. And young Jim Jr. will get that football dedicated to him as Jim lugs it in to go up 14 on the Jets with 11:22 to play, and the rain coming down, reminiscent of that preseason game in Chicago that after the lightning and the heavy rain they wound up calling off. Not to that stage here yet, but this is a substantial rainstorm, and here at this stadium, I guess we ought to be glad that's not snow. We may be in danger of flying projectiles, although Jets fans may not want to be blamed for something Giants fans did.
Yeah, I do remember that. There's Jim Harbaugh celebrating. He likes playing in the Meadowlands, doesn't he?
I guess so. As we mentioned at the top of this program, it was this game that helped launch him toward the captain comeback tag and the Colts turnaround of a season ago. Going to run it out. Ronald Morris going to try to run it out of the end zone. And somehow works his way back to the 17-yard line. Flag down. 19-yard return. Another kicking game flag. What else is new?
Illegal push in the back. Number 57 on the return team.
Mo Lewis.
Half the distance. First down.
Now that it's raining, Bob's mic is working. How do you figure that? Don't forget, next Sunday, 12 noon Eastern time for more NFL action. 12 noon Eastern time with the NFL on NBC. Then most of you will see the Jets. Doesn't get any easier for them as they travel down to Miami to face Dan Marino and the Dolphins. Others will see the Chargers against Brett Favre and the Packers. Then second half of the doubleheader, Troy Aikman, the Super Bowl champion Dallas Cowboys with many problems of their own, battling Jim Harbaugh and the Colts, who could be 2-0 for the first time since 1977. Check your local listings for the games in your area. The NFL on NBC next Sunday, 12 noon Eastern time.
Well, you mentioned that Chicago game. I think Bob McElwee is considering sending people to the locker room here.
And of course, it's not the rain as it is the lightning that's the danger. There, we just had a bolt of lightning. That chased me back a foot or two from the edge of the booth there, Bob.
In the interest of the safety of the fans and the players, we will temporarily suspend the game. Temporarily suspend the game.
I got to say, I agree with him.
I've never been in one of these.
No, I don't know if there has ever been one. We'll have to research it. I'm not sure. But we did see it in the preseason, of course, in that game in Chicago when they called up. But that was preseason.
Yeah, and for those of you interested, Bob McElwee can't call the game, but there are contacts from the league on the sideline. Someone motioned to Bob McElwee to come over. They talked to the observer, and I think Bob McElwee is right, because what it does is it gets the fans out of the stands.
There is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the New York metropolitan area. Marshall Faulk does not look good with the limp, although at least he is mobile. And the Jets, as they get set to face the Cowboys, will wonder about his status for next week. Let's take a look at some other scores now while we have a moment here at the wet Meadowlands. Marshall Faulk making his way to the stadium. Here are the other scores. Boy, the Oakland Raiders continue to have their problems, being blanked after losing in Baltimore last week, trailing Kansas City. Pittsburgh bouncing back with Tom Zach at quarterback. Washington leading Chicago. Buffalo's lead over New England is 6 with 5+ minutes left. Houston on the verge of beating Jacksonville. Minnesota up 3 on Atlanta. Detroit leads Tampa Bay. New Orleans has come back to take a 1-point lead on the Carolina Panthers. Lightning continues to flash above the stadium here as the fans make their way toward cover. We'll take a break with the Colts leading the Jets 21-7. Play suspended at the Meadowlands. We're going to send you to Buffalo now. The Bills leading New England 17-10. Let's join Don Criqui and Beasley Reese.
And we'd like to welcome those of you who've been watching the Colts and the Jets game. This is Don Criqui along with Beasley Reese. Our score here in Orchard Park, New York. The Bills 17, the Patriots 10, as the Bills have just scored on a 63-yard touchdown play.
Well, it's a 3-step drop. Jim Kelly to Quinn Early, and he's gone.
Early's 7th catch of the day. He's got 129 receiving yards. That came on a 3rd and 23 play. The crowd noise has been enormous. Here is a swing pass in the flat. And Curtis Martin, who ran so well in the first half, but has been pretty much shut down in the second half, receives the ball on a throw by Drew Bledsoe and is knocked down by the NFL Defensive Player of the Year from a season ago, Bryce Paup. It's been a battle, been a lot of turnovers. Kelly's been picked off 3 times for Buffalo. This is a man with a lot of confidence and a short memory. Puts mistakes behind him. And he just hit the big play to Quinn Early. Bledsoe goes back to the run to Curtis Martin. And he's hit by just about everybody in a blue uniform.
Well, this next play will put a lot of pressure on Drew Bledsoe. The Buffalo Bills are sending in their dime defense. The big guys are trotting off the field in anticipation of a pass from Drew Bledsoe. We'll see what he decides to do. Dave Meggett's in the backfield.
Meggett, a receiving specialist. This is third down, and the Patriots need 7. A throw and a catch and a first down to the All-Pro as Ben Coates is across the 35-yard line to the 36, and the Patriots drive stays alive. The reason we welcome the Indianapolis Jets game audience is because of bad weather in the Meadowlands of New Jersey. That game temporarily suspended. They'll go back to play when the weather clears. This has been a tremendous game. Knockout hitting. The Patriots coming in with 3 straight wins over the Bills. Bledsoe's hit hard as Bruce Smith, who has 2 sacks and numerous pressures, pops Drew Bledsoe just as he releases the ball.
Once again, he's working against his off-season golf buddy, Bruce Armstrong. And today I've got to give the edge to Bruce Smith. He's gone around Bruce Armstrong several times in key situations. Does it again there.
Temperature in the 60s. We've had wind and rain all day, and Bruce Smith has been magnificent for the Bills. Bledsoe, 14 for 33 for 138 yards. A throw and a catch by Ben Coates, and he's out across the 40 to the 43. The 1 touchdown throw by Bledsoe was to the rookie Terry Glenn, the Patriots' top draft choice, a 38-yard play. Glenn has caught 5 passes today.
New England has beaten Buffalo the last 3 meetings. And a lot of people told us that the reason that they think New England has been successful, or one of the reasons, is that Bruce Armstrong has been able to nullify the game-breaking play of Bruce Smith. Well, today, Bruce Smith has been making some plays. We'll see how it turns out.
Smith won the game last Sunday against the Giants with a sack and a forced fumble in overtime that set up the winning field goal. Bledsoe. 3rd and 2, takes a look on the run. Here comes the rush. Bledsoe fires, and it's incomplete at the 45 as Bledsoe's quick to leave the pocket. The Bills pass rush flushing him out.
Well, I believe that with 3 minutes and 13 seconds left, 4th down, New England has got to consider. Yeah, it looks like they're going to go for it. This is clearly a 4th down situation and the biggest play of the game.
Earlier in this game, the Patriots, on a very makeable field goal try late in the 2nd quarter, elected to have the holder, Tom Tupa, who's a quarterback also, throw the ball. It was incomplete, and they got no points. And twice the Patriots' place kicker, Vinatieri, has hit the upright for field goals that were no good, field goal tries. Bledsoe stands in, lets it go downfield. It comes in on the 1-hop. Here's a penalty marker. It'll be a Patriot first down as Ken Irvin was defending Terry Glenn. So the Patriot drive stays alive at the Bills' 42.
Well, let's see what happens at the end of this play. It's a half-hearted play fake, run fake.
That's a first down.
Really can't see what happened there, but the play does call for a first down as a result of the penalty.
Irvin's made some big plays. He recovered a fumbled kickoff by Dave Meggett in the first half.
So the pass interference gives him the first down.
Bledsoe, deep drop. Here comes the rush. He fires over the middle. It would have been picked, but the man going for the ball, Kurt Schultz, the Bills' free safety, ran into one of his own guys. He'd have been running back, maybe still.
Boy, this is not a good throw. Maddox is in good position. Schultz is breaking in good position. These guys, it was such a bad decision to throw the ball that the 2 defenders ran into each other trying to catch the ball.
This can happen.
This can happen.
The weather projections in the Meadowlands of New Jersey are that the game should resume in about 15 minutes. The Colts and the Jets. Right now, the Patriots have the ball, trailing by 7. 3:02 left to play. Bills lead at 17-10. Bledsoe fires. And again, he is off target. Again, he's looking at the rookie #1 draft choice who's playing his first game for New England, Terry Glenn. Bill Parcells, we asked him why the Patriots have been so successful against the Bills the last 3 times, 3 straight wins. Said really it comes down to we've played well on offense and defense. We've just had good games. But Bledsoe probably said it better. He said some of our better people neutralized some of their better people. Like Armstrong against Smith.
That's right.
He said they couldn't cover Coates.
Drew Bledsoe's got to put a ball on target here. The last few throws have been very questionable.
The Bills wanted to get Bledsoe throwing off his back foot, and he's done some of that. Now they go to a draw to Dave Megan. And on 3rd and 10, looking to catch Buffalo in an all-out pass rush. Megan gets ahead for some yards, but far less than he needed. And now 4th down arises with 2:44 left to play and the clock ticking down.
Well, 4th and 6 is a very interesting down. 3rd and 6, 4th and 6. There are a lot of plays you can call. So the defense is under real pressure here. You don't know what they're going to do.
You got to throw it. Here comes a blitz. And down goes Drew Bledsoe, the great Bruce Smith, with his 3rd sack of the day. You can't count how many other good things he's done, though. Play one of the greatest games I've seen a defensive lineman play.
Well, here's the matchup again at the critical point of the game. Armstrong, Smith, and Bruce Armstrong literally backs up until Bruce is able to jump on his back. Here's another look at it. That was too easy. That was too easy on a critical down. Bruce Armstrong has got to come up and challenge the guy, stop him, and give the quarterback time. Great play by Bruce Smith.
About as critical a down as they get as the ball turns over, but still 2:20 remains to be played. Patriots with their timeouts, and they'll also get one at the 2-minute warning. But they have to get a defensive stop as the Bills go back to the run, and the young power runner, Derek Holmes, takes it at New England and gets the ball to the 45, and that'll take us down to the 2-minute warning. Now the Patriots are going to use a timeout before that, then get another at the 2-minute warning. The NFL on NBC goes to week 3 next Sunday as NBC Sports presents more exciting action at the special time of 12 noon Eastern time with the NFL on NBC. Most of you will see Dan Marino and the Miami Dolphins take on Neil O'Donnell and the Jets. Then in the second half of our doubleheader, most of you will see Troy Aikman, the king of the Cowboys, and the Super Bowl champion team from Dallas battle Jim Harbaugh and the Indianapolis Colts. Check your local listings for the games in your area. That is the NFL on NBC next Sunday starting at 12 noon Eastern time. Don Criqui with Beasley Reese at Orchard Park, New York. 80,000 lending their support to the Bills in their home opener. Bruce Smith.
This is a special weather report from News Channel 4.
Good afternoon. I'm meteorologist Janice Huff. We have some severe weather moving through the area, as most of you have probably experienced already, are experiencing right now. The weather has been so severe that the Indianapolis Jets game at the Meadowlands has been suspended until the storms pass through. Let's take a look at Doppler 4000 live now to show you that line of severe storms that is moving through the area. They are presently moving through the New York City metropolitan area, where we have a severe thunderstorm and flash flood warnings for all the boroughs right now. That until about 4:30 this afternoon. These storms are moving very rapidly through the area. They have dangerous lightning, strong gusty winds, heavy downpours. We've seen some flash flooding already when they move through sections of central central New Jersey earlier this
lands, where the Indianapolis New York game has been suspended with the Colts leading 21-7 in the fourth quarter. Suspended by a severe thunderstorm and accompanying lightning. Both teams were sent to the locker room. Fans were told to seek shelter, and the game was suspended 30 minutes due to the electrical storm. Marshall Faulk, before being injured, scored the Colts' first touchdown, and then Indianapolis, this is in the first half, went up 14-0 on this Jim Harbaugh pass to his tight end Ken Delger, who made a beautiful catch for the touchdown.
Part of that first half, I might add, when Jim Harbaugh was 11 of 12.
Jets, just before halftime, finally got on the scoreboard as Keyshawn Johnson, top player taken in the draft, scored his first NFL touchdown and had a pro-size celebration afterwards.
It went on for about 20 minutes, longer than the lightning delay.
I don't think he even went in at halftime. He just stayed and celebrated. And then this quarterback draw play, Jim Harbaugh, the latest touchdown scored, giving the Colts a 14-point cushion, that occurring just before the thunderstorm hit in full force. The lightning booming over the stadium here. Fans seeking shelter under the stadium And the Colts padded their lead to 14, but a costly victory if they do hold on to win. You see Marshall Faulk on crutches, one of a number of Colts starters who have been sent to the sidelines today. Tony Bennett, Marshall Faulk, Frazier, Grant, Leuenberg, and Vickers, all starters and all knocked out by injury today. So with the Colts set to face the Cowboys next week, they're probably going to go 2-0 for the first time since '77 unless the Jets can rally, but it could be a costly victory.
Yeah, we saw three of those starters on crutches. The two offensive linemen and Marshall Faulk. We're not sure exactly what the injury to Marshall Faulk is, but it's a toe or a foot sprain or something like that. So it has been very costly. Yes, they like the victory. Yes, the Colts have performed well, but I mean, you know, with the second week of a 16-week season, you're looking for offensive linemen from the waiver wire. I don't like their chances.
You know, the NFL tells us that, at least according to the records, this is the first time that a regular season game has been suspended. That doesn't mean it didn't happen back in the early days, but they have no record of it ever having happened. Have you ever been around anything like this, Bob?
I was doing a preseason game a number of years ago in Tampa, which I think is probably the lightning capital of the United States, and they called off the last quarter of the game, like the game up in Chicago that you mentioned earlier. But in a regular season game, no. And Bob McElwee, with help from the NFL Observer and the league office, made the right choice, because you don't want these fans out here exposed to lightning.
I must report that there were some that said maybe when the Jets visit Indianapolis, they could just start from here and finish this one and play two. Huh?
A doubleheader? I don't think so. Good idea, though.
So we resume with 11:10 left to play in the fourth quarter. 21-14, Indianapolis leading New York. First down for the Jets back at their own 8-yard line. Neil O'Donnell. Screen pass. Adrian Morrell, who's returned to the game, fumbles the ball, and it appeared the Colts were on it.
I haven't seen a call yet.
And maybe the Jets got it back. It's probably changed hands several times in that pile. And it is New York ball.
Now, see, that's one of the problems of coming out after a 29 or 30-minute delay. Burrows, Quentin Coryatt knocks it loose. How did Jet come up with that football?
I don't know. Eugene Daniel appeared to have it there for a moment, and then the scramble begins. Sammy Burrows, meanwhile, has been injured, another cold injury. And this is also a time, I would think, Bob, that injuries could occur, having been in the locker room, cold, trying to warm up in a hurry, field wet. I mean, there's all sorts of complicating conditions here that could lend to a scene like this.
You know, and unfortunately, we don't see any of these Colts just little injuries. They all come out on crutches later.
We'll be back.
List of Colt wounded continues to mount. This is Sammy Burrows, the free agent rookie linebacker from Portland State, help from the field. Colts respond by putting in Diedrich Mathis, a fifth defensive back. O'Donnell's pass broken up. Jason Belser, the free safety, timing his hit perfectly on Kyle Brady to prevent the reception.
Well, there's another guy, Kyle Brady, who in Ron Earhart's offense, the tight end, has always got an awful lot of business. No catches today. He does have a bad shoulder, had very little contact all week, number 88, but when he gets healthy, we need to get him the ball.
Morrell, ridden down by Tony Saragusa for a short gain on the play.
Well, the break didn't help the Jets, did it?
No. Tony Saragusa, of course, is familiar to Jersey fans. New Jersey State wrestling champion during his high school days. Also was a punter and a place kicker back in those days. I'd like to see that.
He had to be a straight ahead place kicker. That square-toed devil.
3rd and 7. O'Donnell dumps it complete to Cobb, and he's upended short of the first down. Nice tackle made by Jeff Harrod. It's Richie Anderson instead. And Jeff Harrod, let's see where they mark it. It's going to be close to the first down. Got a pretty good spot of the football, and it looks like they'll measure. Just that much short. And it's 4th down. I don't think there's much doubt that Richie Kotite will go for it.
Yeah, he just motioned. Yeah, go on.
Keyshawn Johnson getting real close to Richie. Want to let him know I'm not in the game. You know, you sure you don't want me in the game? But that kind of distance, they're going to put their power line up on the field while Jim Harbaugh tries to stay loose on the Colts sideline. Jets have gone for it once today on 4th down and converted. They needed about this much at the time. They come with Brady and Baxter, 2 tight ends. They put James Parrish in, effectively another tight end to block. Lines up on a wing to the right. That's Baxter in motion from that wing spot. And the hand to Anderson, who has the first down to the 35-yard line. So 2 for 2 today on 4th down conversions, but still trailing by 14 and under 10 minutes left in the game.
And now the Jets have to get in their hurry-up mode. I mean, even though there's 9:11 to go, they cannot treat this like it's the final 3 minutes. I mean, they got to start 3 and 4 wide receivers, get the ball down the field now.
O'Donnell steps up and heaves downfield. Webster Slaughter inside the 15-yard line. Tracked down by Diedrich Mathis. The veteran Slaughter celebrates a big play. It covered 53 yards.
Kind of a hesitation and go by Slaughter. Took a long time to develop. You see the man in coverage. There's the hesitation. The defensive back bit. Mathis bit all over it. And then another great throw by Neil O'Donnell. And Webster Slaughter, who I think probably 6-8 years ago could outrun almost any quarterback in the league, doesn't have the speed anymore, but fine catch, big play.
Jets have the ball now at the 12-yard line of the Colts. They trail by 14. O'Donnell, plenty of time here, and he takes it to Brady, the tight end, fumbles the ball. And the Colts think they have it, waiting for the signal. Yes, Indianapolis football. Brady, playing with a bad shoulder, had it, lost it at the 1-yard line, and we didn't see it, but perhaps it was a blow to that tender shoulder that forced the ball free. Steve Morrison recovering for the Indianapolis Colts.
The ball really popped out. Ran the tight end on the delay. There's 88. He's got the ball in his left arm, and his left shoulder is hit. Still can't tell what happened.
David Tate is the man that put the hit on him. And then Morrison recovers.
See if we can see again. There's the contact. Ball just pops loose. Brady's had no contact this week. Looked like he had it tucked away, but a big hit jars it loose.
Well, it appeared the Jets were going to have a chance to close within 7. Instead, they turn it over. Colts start at their own 2. Jets defense needs a big play now for New York to have any chance. Lamont Warren, who has replaced the injured Marshall Faulk, lugs it to the 5-yard line.
Jets defense has played reasonably today. Just a great first half by Jim Harbaugh, and a couple of throws that I didn't think anybody could throw to make the completions he executed. Kyle Brady on the sideline, last year's first-round pick.
Second and 6. Warren got it to about the 9-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down and a couple. Mark Spindler stood him up.
Most important thing for the Colts now, pretty obvious. Just don't do something stupid. Hang on to the football. Just don't miss a blocking assignment up front, so you've got somebody loose on Harbaugh or a running back.
Steelers with Jerome Bettis having a big game on the ground, and Mike Tomczak at quarterback. Even their record at 1-1, beating the Ravens, who also fall to 1-1.
Yeah, they couldn't beat Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh as the Browns. They can't beat them in Pittsburgh as the Ravens.
Nothing changed. Uniform change, name change, result the same. Warren stops short of the first down at the 10-yard line, and the Colts will have to punt from deep in their own territory. approaching the 6-minute mark, and the Jets needing 2 touchdowns.
Well, now Brady's got a chance to amend for the fumble.
Chris Gardocki will punt from his own end zone. And too much time. No, maybe not. Illegal procedure, perhaps, will be assessed against the Colts.
False start prior to the snap. Number 30, offense. 5 yards. Half the distance to the goal line.
Derwin Gray, as Lindy Infante's team now must punt deeper in their own end zone. They'll spot the ball back around the 5-yard line.
Does stop the clock, that penalty. So in a perfect world, you'd hope that the guy who was down covering the punt, Derwin Gray, would not do a false start, keep the clock running.
And they wind it again, and we're down to 5:35. Gardocki at the back of the end zone now. Take a safety here and punt it away?
No, I think you go ahead and kick it.
Yep. Low snap. Gardocki pulls it up and sends it toward Wayne Corbett. Corbett past midfield. Flags as he is close to the 45. Flags from every direction.
See, there's 7 officials. There are 4 flags on the field. I think they got this one covered.
52-yard punt. Corbett's return 11 yards. Not another special teams penalty.
Block in the back.
Yep.
Number 84 on the receiving team during the return. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Fred Baxter, the penalty.
The picture of the Jets special teams coach Ken Rose and the phrase half the distance to the goal have been the most oft-repeated things in this game.
In terms of penalties, it's one of the most woeful performances of a special teams unit I can remember in a while. Just about every single play.
Yeah.
Special teams play.
And a lot of coaches will say that's laziness, just taking the easy way out, not really committing yourself to the blocks.
Short game. Jeff Graham takes it out of bounds. Gained a yard.
Wow.
That won't get it done.
No, it won't. But the Colts are doing a good job with the extra defensive backs in the game. I count 7 in the game right now. They're going to make sure that every receiver the Jets have stays in front of that deepest defender. This is called the Joker defense with Freddie Joe Nunn in there. They've got a 3-man rush. 3-6. Well, there are now 6 defensive backs in the ball game. They put 1 linebacker in.
Keyshawn Johnson wide to the bottom of the screen. 3 wides on that side, 2 to the top. O'Donnell's arm hit as he released, and it's knocked down. Intended for Corbett. Diedrich Mathis was able to deflect it to the turf. Somebody got his arm as he came forward, didn't they?
Looked like Richard Dent. I couldn't really tell. Let's see if 96 from the other side gets his hand up there. It is Richard Dent. Number 96. Who, when he came to the Colts, brought old tapes of him when he was a great pass rusher with the Chicago Bears, trying to teach these kids the tricks of the trade.
Become as much coach as player, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has a pulled muscle in his hip. That's not an injury today. It's an injury he's had for about 10 days.
3rd and 9 for the Jets. 4:46 remaining. O'Donnell has his man, and it'll be spotted close to the first down. It's Keyshawn Johnson. Hit immediately by Mathis. Let's see the spot of the football. It's put down, and it's very close. Close enough to measure.
That's one of the first times I've seen Johnson in the slot, right, running the in pattern. Normally he's been on the outside, so learning in bits and pieces here.
Has a touchdown catch today, the only score by the Jets. So 4th and inches. They already have converted 2 4th downs in this game. They'll try here for the 3rd, and to have any chance to win, they'll need it.
All 3 have been easy decisions. I mean, it's a no-brainer for Richie in all 3 instances.
.430 left. Will the 3rd conversion keep this drive going? Tight formation. O'Donnell sneaks it, and would appear he has enough. So 1st down, Jets. The ball right at midfield. It's 21-7. And the Jets, as they wind the clock, don't appear to be in any great hurry. Now they're up at the line.
But they are coming with 4 wide receivers. They got to get the ball down the field here.
Wide open across the middle. Corbett gave ground trying to get to the outside and had a 1st down, and then will be marked a little short. McElroy on the tackle of Corbett. Now the Jets up at the line with their hurry-up offense. We're down to 3:40.
And Tom, the Colts are not about to break out of this prevent defense. I'm going to give them a reception, make the tackle.
O'Donnell, Corbett out of bounds. 1st down, New York. Spot the football at the 36-yard line. Clock shows 3:31. 7th catch of the day for Wayne Corbett.
Even though Keyshawn Johnson's got all the attention when a free agent from Hofstra makes the team, it's always tough for him, but he has responded every time they give him the opportunity, returning punts, making the tough catch. Corbett does it.
O'Donnell approaching 300 yards passing today, 24 of 39, 297 yards, but trailing by 14. O'Donnell got away and then heaves it incomplete. Sort of shot-putted it down there as he was collapsed by Bernard Whittington and Freddie Joe Nunn.
And if watch the pocket collapse, and if Bob McElwee is not intent on protecting Neil O'Donnell, I'm going to see the first pressure come from 93, Freddie Joe Nunn. Now Bob McElwee's going to show up here. He's watching the quarterback. If he's not watching the quarterback, he calls intentional grounding because Neil was between the tackles, still in the pocket. McElwee makes the choice. My first job here, protect the quarterback.
Yep. There's no one in the remote area of the pass, but they get away with it. It's 2nd and 10.
Timeout?
No, they're resetting the play clock.
Ah, okay.
O'Donnell rifles it complete to Keyshawn Johnson. He'll be marked down by contact at the 21-yard line. Ray Buchanan covering him as he has all day.
But Keyshawn Johnson won that battle. There was a lot of contact between Buchanan and Johnson here. He does a great job of at least winning the contact. It's Eugene Daniels all over him. Yeah, good job.
15-yard gain. O'Donnell on the out. Incomplete. Intended for Johnson. Eugene Daniel over there with him. O'Donnell over 300 yards, the 8th time in his career, 1st time as a Jet. But a hollow sort of accomplishment when you're down 14.
Yeah, 42 attempts. That's not the way that that Rich Kotite and Ron Earhart designed this offense.
10th play of this Jet drive, and they have only 2:56 left in the game. They need a quick score and a chance to get the ball back. Another out, complete to Webster Slaughter. Out of bounds inside the 20, marking at about the 18, short of a 1st down. Buchanan and McElroy made sure he went out of bounds. 2:51 left.
But here you're seeing an example of the prevent working. The clock is your ally. You'll give them the completions. You'll even give them the score. You want as much time eaten off the clock as possible. This is not to stop a defense. This is to stop an offense. This is to slow down an offense.
It's third down. They're going to run it. Slipping down, Richie Anderson on his backside, close to the first down, covered by Jason Belser. Let's see, and another measurement.
Well, that's better than a penalty.
Well, on each of these measurements, it seems the Jets have come up just short and had to go for it on fourth down, but 3 times they have done that successfully.
Well, let's keep with that theme. If they don't make it, try on fourth down, see what happens.
Meantime, the clock is the Colts ally at 2:40.
This time they get the first down by half the length of the football.
Darn.
So a long drive, and a long drive eating up the clock is not what the Jets want. They need to push it into the end zone and try for the onside kick. Wind the clock, approaching 2:30. O'Donnell over Anderson's head and incomplete. Bernard Whittington applying the pressure on Neil O'Donnell, and then out in the coverage. I guess that was another one of those zone blitzes, was it, where Whittington kind of dropped off to...
That's what they do. They try to sneak a defensive back in there on the blitz and then drop a defensive lineman just to put a helmet to confuse the quarterback.
A technique, I guess, developed by Dom Capers when he was a defensive coordinator at
exactly
Panthers head coach. O'Donnell from the shotgun. Into the end zone and over shooting his man, Wayne Corbett. Going to bring up third down.
Certainly 2-down area. May get anything. But the Colts have done a great job. I mean, there has been very little available very far down the field for the Jets to try to get somebody at least running for the goal line. They've gone to the sideline. Done an excellent job in coverage.
They've conceded it underneath and forced the Jets to use a lot of the clock.
Yeah, there's Jim Johnson, the defensive coordinator. Well, most times the prevent defense doesn't work. This is one of those examples where it has beautifully.
2:18 on the clock.
Blitz.
Picked up and intercepted in the end zone. Ray Buchanan has picked it off. Buchanan with the interception out of bounds at the 30-yard line. O'Donnell picked off by Ray Buchanan. And Buchanan a little gimpy as he hauls it out of bounds after a 30-yard return from the end zone. Could this be another Colt injury? First interception, but Buchanan not happy about that turn of events.
Watch the blitz. You got 2 defensive backs and a linebacker blitzing. O'Donnell really couldn't put the oomph on the football to get it to Jeff Graham. Buchanan steps in front, and he does pull a hamstring.
So the last gasp effort by the Jets goes awry. Colts ball, the NFL on NBC.
Here's the intended receiver, but you can see what the Colts do to try to upset the New York Jets, and it works. 3 guys blitzing, and when Graham breaks for the post, Ray Buchanan steps right underneath him. Interception thrown by Neil O'Donnell. It's really created by just the pressure, the fact that O'Donnell had 1 receiver to look at and 1 only, and had to throw it in the direction of Jeff Graham.
So twice the Jets get inside the Colt 20, and twice they turned it over. Fumble by Brady, and the interception thrown by O'Donnell.
And Buchanan on the sideline. At least he's not on crutches. He may have an ice bag, but
they didn't bring enough.
That's Hunter Smith sitting next to him, the trainer, too. You know, that's always a bad sign. Interception goes straight to the trainer.
Harbaugh handing the ball off to Vince Workman, who makes an appearance in the Colt backfield as we come down to the 2-minute warning. And the Jets will call a timeout, stopping the clock at 2:02, just before the 2-minute warning.
That's a good use of their timeouts,
right. But unless they can produce 14 points in a short amount of time, it's a futile efforts.
Well, the Jets are going to be 0-2, and Neil O'Donnell coming here is, I mentioned to him when we were out at Hofstra, I said, Neil, I know your first name is Neil, but every article I read, it's $25 million Neil O'Donnell. I said, yeah, I don't like it. There's nothing I can do about it. But
well, for all the money the Jets spent, certainly better things were expected.
I'm still of the opinion they're going to lose this game. The Jets are going to win quite a few games this year. I don't think they're going to be a playoff team, but they're going to win some games. They got to fix their special teams. I don't think last week they figured that they had problems on special teams the way they do.
Well, they get 7 points this week, 6 a week ago. The offense needs a little patchwork done, too. And won only 3 games a year ago, spent 60, 70 million, something like that, to upgrade their team, and they're going to be 0-2. Just what we needed, another penalty. Well, it's rained on the Jets home opener in more ways than one today.
Encroachment, 94, defense.
We'd like to thank Matt Brock for prolonging the agony.
It is definitely rained on their home opener.
And it doesn't get any easier for those Jets, who must travel to Miami next week. Keyshawn Johnson, the only man with a smile today.
Enjoying himself, a veteran's responsibility to go over to the kid and say, look at the scoreboard. We don't care how many you scored. This is a team sport.
Yep, that's going to be played a lot, I think. That after Johnson pretty much mouthed off all week, he did come through with a performance. He backed it up by a pretty good performance today, but that smile on the sideline as you go 0-2 and another pretty good defeat is going to not sit well with a lot of people. Harbaugh sneaks it across for the first down as we do come to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes left in the game, and the Jets about to go 0-2. A minute 55 seconds separating the Colts from going 2-0 for the first time since 1977, and that's significant. Under Ted Marchibroda, the then Baltimore Colts won the AFC Eastern Division Championship that year, starting 2-0. Vince Workman. And the Jets will take the timeout. So Indianapolis will go 2-0 for the first time since '77, but a costly victory in terms of injury. They'll be much depleted as they head down to Texas Stadium to take on the Cowboys next week. Yes, the Cowboys have been struggling, but still a formidable challenge for the Colts, especially with depleted ranks as they take on the Cowboys here on NBC. And then they will face the Miami Dolphins before getting the bye week.
Now, the Colts are going to be very busy this week. Bill Tobin, the general manager, player personnel director, and Lindy and Fonnie are going to have to get their heads together as quickly as possible, trying to figure out who we know for sure can't play this weekend. There's certainly one of them. That's Jay Lewenberg. And you got one defensive back with a broken arm. You got Marshall Faulk with a cast on his foot. You got to bring some people in here and try to teach them Colts offense in 5 or 6 days.
Workman again carries the football. So Lindy Infante has guided the Colts to that 2-0 start. First time since '77 that they have been in that position. And again, that year they won the AFC East as the Baltimore Colts under Ted Marchibroda. Lindy Infante succeeding Ted Marchibroda and saying to us yesterday, certainly wasn't planned by him. He had been in retirement, had built his dream house in Florida when he was called to be the offensive coordinator of the Indianapolis Colts. He said he figured he'd spend a couple of years as offensive coordinator and then retire for good. Here he finds himself not only the head coach of the Colts, a job he didn't expect or plan for, and finds himself also 2-0 and atop the division.
Over at the Pro Bowl, Marchibroda's coaching staff was over there. Was Lindy a part of that? And that's when the whole thing unfolded, that Marchibroda didn't accept the offer from the Colts He wanted more years than they were willing to give, and certainly not by accident, but Lindy was the next in line. He had the head job at Green Bay for several years.
And he said this is a much better team he has inherited than the one in Green Bay, and thus a much better situation for him as head coach.
The other thing is he only had to hire 3 assistant coaches. That helps a lot. You know, Vince Tobin goes to Arizona. He was replaced by Jim Johnson. And they tried to get somebody to replace Lindy, and then Marcia Broda left, and they also hired an administrative assistant to try to help Lindy with all of the paperwork of being a head coach in the NFL. So his office was right next door to Teddy's. He said, I just walked from one door to the other, moved the boxes, and I became the head coach of the Colts.
1:06 left on the clock. It's 3rd down and 9 for Indianapolis. Harbaugh rolls and slides down. Back at about the 38-yard line. Well, you have put forward the premise that the Jets are still going to win some games. But it would appear to be a tough road for Rich Kotite. Once again, he will have to regroup. And it's hard to see that they would have to bounce back in a big way to face the Dolphins in Miami. Then they come back here to face the Giants. That's a game they can win. Maybe Washington, too. So if your premise is they're going to get better as everyone meshes and learns the system and the injuries heal, it could still be a rough start for Rich Kotite.
Yeah, I agree with you. Rough start, but I'm not sure that they know exactly what they've got yet. With that, this is the first time they've had David Williams at offensive tackle. They hope to get Jumbo Elliott back next week. Keyshawn Johnson finally a contribution today. We saw Reggie Cobb, and I repeat, I like this defense. I like the Jets defense, even with Eric Howard hurt. This is a defense that's going to create problems for some people.
Well, we have time to remind you the executive producer of NBC Sports is Tom Roy, coordinating director of the NFL on NBC, John Gonzalez. Today's game produced by Bill Bonnell and directed by Bucky Guntz. The NFL on NBC produced by Ricky Diamond and directed by John Gilmartin. It's been a long afternoon for all our guys today, and still more to come with the NFL on NBC post-game report. All the scores and highlights with Greg Gumbel sticking around with Mike Ditka, Joe Gibbs, and Chris Collinsworth. That'll come up at the end of the game to get you up on all the action week 2 here in the NFL. The NFL on NBC post-game report coming up in about 23 seconds. That's how much time is left on the clock here. Gardocki fielding a low snap and sending it to Wayne Corbett. It's going to bounce short and will be downed by Dilger around the 30-yard line.
I thought they'd rush the punter.
Well, there's a flag down. Guess what? Another special teams penalty against the New York Jets.
Rush the punter, not hit the punter, rush the punter.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker, 99 defense, 15 yards, first down.
Hugh Douglas, the latest in a long string of guilty Jets.
And he jumps over the fullback who was right in front of the punter and rolls into his leg. I mean, this is not difficult to drop the flag. So I wonder how many yards the special teams have cost the Jets today.
I don't know.
Bad field position.
But I told you we should have just called it off when the rain hit. And, you know, if they wanted to need to play the last few minutes, do it in Indianapolis when they get together again. We could have been halfway home by now.
You were right. You were right.
That is not a pretty sight for the New York Jets.
What would you say? 6 of those on special teams?
Oh, at least. Good news is only 15 seconds remain. And that will do it. Final seconds tick away to a